That's better. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tel Cockerel, Sunday evening, Sunday the 18th of August, for this show, winners and losers, runners and riders from the first weekend of the Premier League. And with me to share this stream, first time, is John Sinclair TV, who's an avid Newcastle fan and Newcastle YouTuber, has his own channel. This is going out both on Tel Cockerel, John Sinclair TV, and also on John Sinclair TV on X. So, welcome, John. How are you, sir?
Good evening to you, Jose. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you so much for coming on your wonderful channel for the first time. And I'm just so buzzed to be here, man.
Fantastic. I'm going to be asking you some Newcastle questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to be asking you some thoughts on Tottenham from you, but I think the first thing to do would be to go through, like I said, I'm going to go through the scores from this weekend and see what our thoughts are. I know that you were travelling to the game, so therefore you may not have seen some of the matches. Did you catch a match of the day?
I did. I caught some of the match of the day as well, and saw a couple of highlights as well. Didn't see the Brentford Palace game, but yeah, it's been some controversials as well, and mate, it's just cracker.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then what we'll do is shout out a few people here. I can see people from your channel. Good. That's good. Okay, so I can see everyone. Right. So, what I've done straight away off the bat for the people for my community people is there's John's link there. John's a wonderful guy. So subscribe to John. As we always do, we look after people that come on. We've got an excellent community here. So please go over and sub to John at John Sinclair TV. There's a link in there. The link's also in the stream itself, and it's in the chat. So help yourselves, guys. Sub over to him. He's superb. Queen Ellie's here, or was here earlier, saying, "You're such a great man, Jose, so diligent, and you are brilliant at keeping the scoreboard updated. And my hat goes off to you, man. Respect. Thanks, Ellie. I hope you are well, my darling. I hope your daughter's well, and I hope Theo's well, and you as well. So, the whole family, I wish you all the very best." Okay, so I've just seen that she's able to pop on her. Ellie's a former Tottenham player. She used to play for Tottenham Ladies, one of the founders. And she is saying that she can come on about R8, which would be good because she's not streamed for a while now. So I will get her on. Mark Cousins, the sheriff, as we call him, he says, "Big up Jose and John."
Big up, Mark.
Spurs GCTV, good evening, Jose. I hope you're well. And good evening, John. That's Graham, who's Spurs GCTV. And then you have Colton Connor saying, "Hiya, John and Jose." Good evening, Colton Connor. I hope you're well, sir. Talk and Ball, all the way from America, says, "Hey, boys." He's another Tottenham YouTuber, has a Tottenham YouTube channel as well. And he's saying, "I'm at work, but can listen in and type here." And he's hoping that everyone's having a nice day. We also have Martin Watson saying, "Good evening to the sexiest man on YouTube. Good win yesterday against 12 men. Sexy John Sinclair."
Wow.
Away the lads.
Martin is a great guy. He really is. You know what it is, Martin, right? I mean, he loves to have fun. Doesn't say a lot, but he loves to have fun. And every time he comes on, I just have to smile. I hope his wife is happy though.
Yeah, but that's good. That's what you want, don't you? You want people, like we were saying backstage, it's about growing the community, isn't it, John? So
absolutely,
and that's what we all want.
Yeah, man. Just if you create a community from over the world, then you got people from America, Australia, which is great, and that's what we need. That's what we need. Someone's gonna help us out, and help the YouTubers too.
And then you've got Ryan, who's a Wolves supporter, saying, "Evening, Jose and John." Good evening, Ryan. I hope you are well, sir.
Ryan.
And then we have people saying hello to each other. Then you've got 70s Kid saying, "Hey, John, we will meet soon."
100%, because I spoke to him today, and he sent us a DM saying that someone's been a bit jealous of my YouTube success, and you know what, I just cannot be bothered dealing with people like that sort of thing, like, that all these pork chop, these trolls and that, but I'm not going to say too much on it, but he stuck up first today. And so his kid, thank you so much for doing that, mate, and we're definitely going to be up in the stack. Get a full source, well.
Fantastic. the stack, for people that don't know, it's hashtags the stack at Newcastle. Tell people a bit about that, John, because you're telling me backstage, but just so people understand.
Yeah, all it is, right? The stack's just been built. Yeah. Well, there was all about doing it the last good few months, by 6 months maybe. So what they've done, they built it up. It was done a couple of weeks ago, right? It's like a fan zone for Newcastle fans can go in, right? It's got 2 floors, the ground, upper floor. They've got a band as well before the games. Fans can sing as play our songs as well, and it is just absolutely fantastic. And the fans there, friendly, just people, because as a YouTuber, I want to go in, right? I can't keep still because people come up and say, "Oh, are you John Sinclair?" And I goes, "I am. Can I take a photo?" And everyone taught them as well, talk about the football. You know what it is? It's just fantastic, and it's a massive, massive. But unfortunately, it's just for Newcastle fans only, and which I've heard. But the queues is about 100 people coming in on a Saturday. You got to wait for them to come in, but it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Check out my latest one.
Right, I'm just going to type it in again because someone said they couldn't get you from my channel, and I think it's because I've done YouTube HD. They've done it the wrong way around. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to enter John's details again.
Best thing to do is just if you type in, it's easier if you type in. If I do it my bit,
I've got it. Don't worry about it. I've done.
Right.
And the digits are, you got some digits, 7306. That's the one. Right, there you go. Thanks for pointing that out, Ryan. So there it is. It's correct now. It's www. There it is. It's now correct. Sorry, I had the HTTPS the wrong way around. So there you go, people. There you go for John. Sub over to John and do him a turn. Let's get him some support. I think you're nearing. You've gone past the 19. You're on your road to 20.
Yeah, I'm on the way to 20k.
Okay, so let's get
over 19k.
Let's help him get to 20k.
Thank you very much, you guys.
No worries at all. And then you've got Peter Kagayas. It's Hyle. It's 5:15 a.m. in Melbourne. Peter, are you working today? If you are, Peter's a paramedic out in Melbourne. And
wow.
So if you're out working today, I wish you all the best. I presume you are working, unless you really are an early bird, mate. So, Martin Watson is here. You are a great lad, John. Take it well.
Thank you very much indeed. You have to, because the thing is, if you bite back at them, they're just going to come at you, sort of thing. Because one thing I'm going to say, right, they soon get sick of it. They will get sick of it. And it's like, I'm the current rise to the top. The trolls that's down the bottom, they're not going to improve, are they? So I'm still at the top.
Right, and we've got Milton Nabrega says, "Hope you're well, Jose. Love your work. Can't wait for the season to start. Spurs 3 to Foxes 0. Sonny, BJ, and Big Dom score. Lots of love from Australia." Milton, for you, it's either got to be 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So good day to you, sir. It's Monday morning for you guys out there, and I hope that you guys are well. Oh, here we go. He's saying it's 5:16 a.m. in Wollongong, New South Wales, in Australia. You kind of get the flavour. We've got quite a few Aussie supporters on this channel.
It's such an amazing. It's just man. I mean, what you have to understand is, right? Spurs are a massive club, right? They're a worldwide club, yeah. And you know what? I mean, I don't know how many followers Spurs has got. We've only got 2.7 million on Newcastle United. I don't know how many followers Spurs has got, but it's quite high. But Spurs are a massive club, and you get them all over the world, man. But Newcastle are getting there. We will get there, because I've been to Japan, and the Japanese.
I saw your videos. I saw your videos that you was out in Japan. Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, no, superb. We were out there as well, weren't we? But we didn't cross paths. So Tottenham and Newcastle were out there at similar-ish times. But then we flew to Korea as well. So where you spent a bit more time in Japan than what we did.
We did. I enjoyed it.
So you've got Gary Richards say, "Tally ho, John, dear boy," and with a few words there for you from Gary.
Tally ho to you, Gary, mate, and I'm hoping I'm having a fantastic weekend, mate, and thank you.
And then you have Destiny 5 who's saying, why I lad?
Why I lad?
So the Spurs supporters are started already. Beer Viking says John Sinclair's Man United fan.
No, that is not true. That is not true. Here's the story, right? I get United followers every week, right? I mean, they follow us the last 13 years, and because they know the film great guy, and I know the same people on a Friday, and follow this follow Friday, and they always follow us. They get me included as a Newcastle fan, and they know I'm a Newcastle fan. So, Brian, I'm not a United fan. You have to talk to Macy.
And then you got Alfie Smith saying, what did you think of the Fabian Schär red card, mate? God bless you all. We will get into the Newcastle game, Alfie. I'm just going to go in order from the games of the weekend, but we will get into the Newcastle game. And I'm fully aware that John was at the game yesterday, so John can give a bit more depth and detail about what happened at the game yesterday for us. But we will get to the Newcastle game. As I said, I've put the link out there for John's channel. You've got Hawaii the Geordies from Ryan. Colton is saying it was a blessing we won the match. Ryan saying cheers. He's sub to you.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate that.
Peter Kegai is a sub to you.
Thank you,
Mark,
Peter.
The Sheriff Cousins is a sub
Mark.
to you. Spurs GCTV Graham a sub to you.
Love to you, my guy.
You got Alan Liddle saying evening, John and Jose. Good evening, Alan. Nice to see you here, my friend.
You too, Alan. He's a wind-up merchant. Watch out, if Venom gets sacked, he winds up about getting Steve Bruce available. It's that over.
You got Milton the Breaker saying, my brother is a massive Newcastle fan and that he's just subbed to your channel as well.
Thank you very much, Milton. Thank you.
Gary Richard says, John, how was the tempura?
Tempura? Tempura, yeah. Sorry, I heard of it. Can you actually explain, man? Tempura.
All right. And then you've got Colton Connor says, Beer Viking, that's a blasphemy, bro, lol. And then you've got antagonizing Geordie saying, as red as a baboon's arse beer.
Right. Because something there, I'm not a United fan. So you might have got the wrong person here. There you go. But I'm taking it well, man. I'm taking it well.
And then you've got John Michaels here saying, evening all, come on you Spurs. Right. So I've said hello and welcomed everyone into the chat for the time being. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the first game. And the first game on Friday night ended up Man United 1, Fulham 0. Did you get to see any of this game at all?
I did. I watched it. It was the first game of the season, and this game was a massive game for United because they had to impress. Because Ten Hag got to say execution. Yeah, I think United's done and made the right decision keeping Ten Hag, because the thing is, the way he got treated was very, very poorly. Yeah, I mean, look, the United fans, right, want him to stay, right. You got Jim Ratcliffe, right, comes in, right, and said they want to get someone else in, couldn't get him over the line, so they decided to keep Eric in. Yeah, but Fulham, I mean, they brought in Edwin Smith-Rowe. I thought he's a good signing for them. Panlino's a massive loss when he's off the Bayern Munich. And the trouble of Fulham, they get in great positions, they just cannot score. That is their problem. Yeah, they got pace up front. You got Dara Traore, right? Pace all night. You got Iwobi as well. He's got a bit of pace on as well. But what Luton are lacking, I mean, Muniz, he's a good guy, but they're lacking a number 9. They're lacking a proper striker. If Fulham can get a number 9 in to replace Mitrovic, I don't think they replace Mitrovic properly at all whatsoever. If they can get someone like him, they would have won that game on Friday night. But United had chances. Bruno had a few chances. Keeper had a great save. Led had a great game, by the way. I can't lie. But Xerxes came on the sub. Lovely finish with his left peg and scored his first goal for the club for Bologna.
I like Muniz as a forward.
He works hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got a bit about him as well. And I just think that when you take out Paulinho, you take out William, Bobby De Cordova-Reid, some of the players that have gone out and freezing that they've got rid of, they're having to start afresh. But a lot of teams got to do that. Having to start afresh. And for me, I like the look of Muniz. Emil Smith-Rowe could be a shrewd signing, but I feel that unless they're going to play 2 number 10s, I think he plays in the same position as Pereira. So I don't know whether there's going to be how much confusion there's going to be unless he makes them both 10s. I don't know whether there's going to be confusion there. Obviously they've lost. Tim Ream went to America, I think, and then Adebayo went to Chelsea. So they've lost some of their centre backs, and I don't know whether Fulham have purchased enough. I mean, there's still 2 weeks left of the window, but I don't know whether they've purchased enough. As for Man United, my honest opinion on Man United is they got a better result. Well, they won 1-0. Their opening game of the season last season, they beat Wolves 1-0, but Wolves absolutely ripped them apart with Cunha and Neto in the first game, and they were slicing through them like a knife through hot butter, which happened quite often to Man United last season, to be fair. But they seem to be a bit more stout on Friday about them. Whether Man United have bought well or not remains to be seen for me. And the reason why I say that is because De Ligt, when he was at Ajax, was an absolute monster of a centre-half, a proper box centre-half. And then he's gone to Juve, and in 2 seasons at Juve, he's played less than 50% of the games because of injury. Then he was sold on to Bayern, where, again, he's played less than 50% of the games in 2 years at Bayern. So if Man United are getting a fit De Ligt, then Man United have got a good buy there. If he's not going to be fit and he's going to have the injury problems, then Man United's centre-back problems will continue. Although saying that, Maguire didn't put a foot wrong on Friday night. Maguire played really well. And as for Martinez, I think Martinez is underrated because I think Martinez is a proper fighter. He's a proper fighter, Martinez. And then also as well, Mazraoui. Mazraoui was a proper baller at Ajax for me. But then when he went to Bayern, he got an injury and he had some issues and got an injury. And it remains to be seen. If he can stay fit, then he looked a really good player at Ajax. And it remains to see whether he stays fit or not. They were unlucky with Yoro in getting an injury. They bought an 18-year-old centre-half who's got a very high ceiling. But we have to wait and see whether how he comes out because he's not playing until the new year. And they've bought Joshua Zirkzee, who Ten Hag told the whole world, this guy's not ready for the Premiership. It's going to take a while before you see him, is what Ten Hag said. And all of a sudden, he came off the subs bench and he got the winning goal. I thought it was quite lucky, but he got the winning goal nonetheless. So Man United, I think, must be really happy with the 3 points. And what I'm going to say, I'm going to caveat every result this weekend and say, no team is at 100% now at the moment. No team is flying in their full swing, right? So the hardest games to win and to get points in are probably the games early on in the season because you don't know how you compare and where you measure up with your fitness and that. So I think that Man United would be so happy that they've got the 3 points on the board and then move on to the next game. What are your thoughts there?
I've got to kind of agree with you. I mean, look, it's the first game. No one ain't, like you just said, no one 100% fit. No one. I mean, Brighton looked impressive. We have to come back to them later on. But for me, going back to what you said about Zirkzee, right? That Ten Hag said that he's not ready for the Premier League. I'll watch this guy for Bologna because I love Italian football. And 11 goals, 4 assists. It'll get better. I really truly believe it gets better. The guy's 6'4". I think he's Premier League ready. But it's going to take him a lot of time to get into the speed of the Prem. But he said about the elite as well. The reason not only he played under 50%, he couldn't get above Chiellini and Bonucci as well, because they were 2 war horses at the back of the defence for Juve. Yeah, so he had to fight for the team. At Bayern Munich, Bayern don't get rid of players if they're deemed not good enough. Yeah, and I think the elite might just be at a league, which I think he's going to be happy with. Yeah, and going back as well about touching about Fulham as well quickly. Yeah, they should have got a point in my opinion, and again, that's what happens. But and also I think they're going to be happy. Man U will be happy with the 3 points. By the way, they had to start well. They need to get the ball, hit the ground running. They did that.
Yeah, right. So just going to catch up with the comments that we've missed since then, just to make sure that we've got up to date with this team. Right, what we got here? Right, I'm just trying to find out where we left. Right, we left here. So Gary Richards says fried calamari, John. Ronnie
thank you, Gary. I mean, I might have heard of it and just hasn't clicked, but no, I haven't, mate. I haven't tried it.
And you got Ronnie saying hello to us. 70s kid says he's a proper Geordie lad.
Thank you.
Carlton's opinion was that it was a very scrappy game. Gary Richards says that Fulham are pony. John Michael says both teams made a lot of mistakes and bad passing. Peter's agreeing with that. Got a chap here that keeps coming on his channel and always says Solomon. Solomon to you as well, sir. Talk and Ball says Solomon. We've got Joris, who's the Belgium Hotspur, says Hola Jose. Hope you're well and happy. Hope you're well, happy I could catch you live. Big up to the other panelists as well. This is John. And for the people that have just joined us in the chat, John has got a channel which is there. So people go over and subscribe to John. It's within the title of the show as well. John's and help John out. John is on the road to 20 big ones. I'm going to say it like that. Graham says, let's be honest, we all wanted Fulham to win. Alan Little says, John, mate, after Saturday's game, that ref was a disgrace. So do you think the rest this season are going to all out to disrupt our season for the top 6 or the Champions League? As I said earlier, Alan, we are going in game order. And when we get to the Newcastle game, because John was there, I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about the game. And he's going to fill us all in with what happened. Gary Richards says Ten Hag's is a poor coach. Ryan is saying very good defender Martinez, just needs to stay fit consistently. Destiny 5 says if Fulham weren't toothless, they would have won. Lucky Man United got lucky. Fulham deserved a draw minimum. Joris is saying Martinez is a proper bulldog defender. I'd hate to play against him. Talk and Ball says, this is Colin at Talk and Ball says, I had a bit of money on the Fulham tie. The last minute goal hurt the wallet. He's not a Man United panelist. This John is a Newcastle YouTuber. You can see he's got a Newcastle top. Why would he wear a Newcastle top if he's Man United? It's his question, Matt at Man United panelist. Who do you support in Italy? So, John, who is it that you follow in Italy if you like the Italian football?
Juventus, and I've also got a spot for Atalanta as well. I mean, I do love Italian football, but Juve is my team. And excuse me. And Thiago Motta's a new manager there. And I think he's had a 4-year deal, by the way. But dude, he says he's going to play open attacking football. I think this guy will be the guy to bring the fortunes back to Juve.
Oh, Belgium says, he's a Geordie. My apologies. Did not know the format of the show. No worries whatsoever, Joris.
No, sorry.
And Joris is saying, Solomon. Peter Kagaya saying, is that right in Hebrew or Arabic? I don't know. You're talking about the chap that said Solomon. And you've got Bill Blythe saying, come on, you Spurs tomorrow. Good evening, Bill. I know if it's the Bill that I'm thinking it is, Bill, I'm glad you're well, mate. I don't know whether you were down my way, but I saw you put a post up, and I'm not sure whether it was last week or whatever, but I hope you and the wife are all well. The Belgian Hotspur says, big up, John. Crazy game against Southampton. Wow. Hard not to like Joe Linton after the start he's had. And then you've got Peter is now, Peter, this comment from Peter has come, he's in your chat now at the moment. So Peter's jumped from here to your chat.
Thank you,
and he
Peter.
Says, I know it's not Greek. You've got Bill Blythe saying, yeah, it is you, Bill. Big up, Bill. Big up, mate. I'm going to save that question for later. And Mark the Sheriff says, does the colour of UA's shirt influence your decision, John?
Not at all. Not at all. Because go back to years of you there, like Roberto Baggio and Alessandro Del Piero and Platini and Bionic as well. So those like Juventus, and there are some big names there as well. Like even Sholan and Boomson played for them as well. Once upon a time, he left Newcastle to go to them, and I'm thinking, wow. But listen, at the end of the day, there are some fantastic players. The best one for me is Baggio and Del Piero.
So I was going to say to you cheekily, I was going to say to you cheekily, what came first, Juventus or Newcastle?
You talk about the clubs. Newcastle is a massive club, but Juve is much.
No. What I meant is that you both share the same colour tops.
Oh yeah.
So who did you go for first? Did you support Juve first or Newcastle? Newcastle. There we go. That answers 100%. Joris says that the writing was in Hebrew 100%. And Phil Coys, good evening, Phil, says one more sleeps. Come on, you effing Spurs. Big up Jose and the panelist. The panelist is John Sinclair, none other. Now, the next game we're going to is the second game of the weekend. Was Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2. Now, I would have thought you'd be travelling and not watch this one, John, but you caught the highlights and match of the day.
Do you know what? Kevin McKenna has done a fantastic job at Ipswich. 2 promotions back to back, yeah? And I thought he's going to, everyone's saying, Ipswich is going to get relegated and not good enough for the Premier League. They're a little weak, blah, blah, blah. I tell you now, I'm going to make a prediction right now. Ipswich, I feel they're going to finish mid-table this season. I think they're going to do Harry's. I really do. Because Kevin McKenna's posting some great players coming into the club who he's believe that he's going to keep them up, yeah? I think Kevin McKenna's going to do well. And Hutchinson, that guy, he should have scored yesterday, shot straight at Alisson. And Wes Burns looks a good player as well. And I think Delap looks fantastic as well. But first half, they gave it everything. They really gave it everything. And in the second half, they kind of ran out of steam. But they shouldn't be disheartened. This is a fantastic Liverpool side that plays pressing football. They got some world-class players there. They got big names there as well. But to lose 2-0 to them at Portman Road is no disgrace. Not a disgrace. And I'll tell you now, they do hold their head down high. And, I mean, yeah, they got caught by a sucker punch. I mean, the first goal was pretty soft, by the way. I thought it was poor defending. And then the second one, Mo Salah does Mo Salah things as always. And that was that. Trent should have scored as well. But you know what? I think Ipswich will be fine. They've got a tough game next week. And their season starts after the Man City. But if they carry on the way they are, have a go. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Keane McKenna's not going to change anything. He's going to play the football he believes he's going to play. And he's going to stick by that. But out of the slot, it will be fine. Yeah. I think Liverpool's going to be up there or thereabouts this season. I really do. Yeah. I think they get top 4 anyway. So, I mean, Liverpool won, but big up to Ipswich giving that a go. Can't hear you, mate. You're on mute.
Sorry, my dogs were barking, so I put myself on mute. Then I start talking when they... Okay. Anyway, it's back. Right. So I watched the game. I watched the first 55 minutes of the game because I went out with the family to theatre and stuff like that. And we went out for afternoon lunch and whatever have you. So I only caught the first 55 minutes of the game and obviously had to watch the highlights. And by all, the caveat I would say is if I haven't watched all the games, I did watch highlights and I've also read a lot of what's happened in each game as well. And in the first half, Ipswich did well. They went man for man against Liverpool. They did well. He stuck with the side more or less that got them promoted last season. So he didn't put all these new buys in one go. He stuck more or less with the side that got promoted last season. And Liverpool came to life in the second half. They found a way. They changed. I think they made 3 substitutions, Ipswich. And after the 3 substitutions were made, Liverpool then scored their 2 goals. And Liverpool found a different way to go and win the game. It's frightening to say. I mean, Liverpool have made no signings whatsoever. So that could be a sign that Slot is happy with the squad that he's got, or they'll go into the market in the next 2 weeks. I've always maintained that anyone going to Liverpool would have picked up a healthy squad. Normally, when you go to a club, it's because the manager has been sacked or somehow they've parted ways because there's a different trajectory that the club want to go into, whatever the manager does. But this wasn't the case with Liverpool. It was merely that Klopp stepped aside and stepped down. So basically, anyone inheriting Liverpool or being the new manager of Liverpool was always going to get a very, very decent squad. I think if you look at the way that Slot plays and the way that he's played in Holland and stuff, he has used a 9. He's used a 9 in the past, but he didn't use a 9 against Ipswich, did he? He played 3 small fellows, playing them across the line, didn't he? He played Jota, Salah, and Diaz across the line. So, I mean, and in the midfield, it was quite interesting that Endo didn't get a sniff in the team.
No, he's got substantial.
And he played Gravenberch. Gakpo didn't get a start. I thought Gakpo done all right in the Euros, but Gakpo didn't get a start. We're under Klopp. Gakpo was more of a starter. Endo was more of a starter. It was interesting that he took Kwanzaa. I had Kwanzaa in one of my fantasy teams, and I think to myself, what's he come off for 45 minutes? I thought he'd been injured. And then I read that it wasn't an injury. He felt that he wasn't winning the ball enough from the forward from Ipswich in the first half, so he swapped it and brought Konate on. The output's always going to be there from Trent and from Robertson, and I think they've got a Rolls Royce still. I know he's aging, but I still think they've got a Rolls Royce in Van Dijk, and their goalkeeper's not a bad keeper either to have. So Liverpool, squad-wise, I think they're all right. They may dip into the market, but yeah, in the second half, Liverpool overpowered them, and to be quite honest, Trent found so much space in that second half. And you got to create the space yourself, haven't you? In football, you need to create and find space yourself. And I think Trent has done absolutely brilliantly in the second half for Liverpool.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, they need to keep Trent as well next season as well. He's still got winning left on his contract. But I think Trent is going to be essential as well in that squad as well, to be fair, because I think he's a really good player. I really do. And I think he's going to come back to his very best. I think he'll sign a new deal. I really do. And going back to what you said about Arne Slot as well, like, he's come in and he headed Jurgen's team. I mean, it's basically the same thing as last season. All he has to do is just get him to win games, and that's all you got to do. So, listen, like I said, Liverpool will be fine. Like I said, they may dip in the transfer market. You never know. But if you look at the fund they got Jota, Salah, and also Diaz. I like Diaz. I think, you know what it is, Jules? I think he's a really good player. I think he's underrated. And probably he wants to move on to Spain, but I just cannot see him leaving Liverpool. Yes, he'll be there next season.
Diaz wants to go to Spain.
Well, I mean, Barcelona wanted him before, but I don't know how concrete that is. But look, that's what's been told. But I think it's been rumours as well. But for me, he's happy at Liverpool, man. They cannot afford to lose Diaz. No way. He has to stay.
Yeah, I agree. We were in for Diaz the winter before last when Liverpool bought him. But Liverpool always had it in mind that they were going to go for him in the summer. They'd earmarked him. They spoke to the agent, the player and all that, and they earmarked him for the summer. Tottenham got a whiff of it, and Tottenham stepped in, made a bid. As soon as Tottenham made a bid for Diaz, they alerted his agent was alerted that they accepted a bid from Tottenham. Liverpool, all they did was match the bid, and obviously they had to buy him earlier than what they thought. And they got a good player because Diaz is a very good player.
He is.
Whether Barcelona are linked with everybody, but they can't afford anyone. Barcelona. I mean, they've got Dani Olmo, and I still don't know whether Dani Olmo has been registered or not because I've not kept up with Barcelona, so I don't know whether Dani Olmo has been registered to play. But they were also in for Nico Williams, who's ended up staying at Atletico Bilbao. So they might have been in for all these players, but the only player that they've bought is Olmo this season because they can't afford to buy players. Now, if Diaz leaves Liverpool, I would have thought that Liverpool would be looking for at least minimum a par of what they paid for him, if not more, because Diaz's stock has risen since he's come from Portugal to Liverpool. His stock has risen, so therefore his
100%.
price would have risen as well. So if Barcelona are going to go for him, they're going to have to pay a hell of a lot of money. So you see Liverpool being all right this season then?
I think they'll be thereabouts this season again. Top 4 for me. Top 4.
Okay. Cool. Graham has stepped into your chat, saying, "Evening, Geordie fans, just popping in to smash a like." So I know he's over there.
Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that, man.
You've got Adrian from Spurs Diehards, Tottenham Till I Die, saying, "Good evening, Jose,
Big
John,
up,
et al." Mark Cook is here saying, "Big up, Jose and Mr. Sinclair."
Big up to Cooksy.
The Sheriff says, "Ipswich started well, but to be honest, class shone through in the end."
I agree.
The Belgian Hotspur says, "I like the way Arnie Slot changed it at half-time and massively improved all team stats of the game. That's sign of a good manager right there."
Very good manager.
Mark's saying, "Good evening to everybody in the chat." Graham says, "Liverpool also have a lot of young talent coming through. They proved that against Chelsea in the cup final." Chris Peters is here, says, "Good evening, Jose, John, and the chat." Chris Peters, mate, at the moment on the predictions, the ones that we did on Friday, the live ones that we did on the show, mate, you're smashing it. You absolutely have smashed it completely. You are, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I think I checked everyone, but you've absolutely smashed it. Gary Douglas says, "Good evening, John, mate."
Big up Gary D. Hope you're well, and big Newcastle fan as well. So he comes to me channel as well.
Fantastic. And then you've got David Clark. David lives in Leicester, says, "Is it true that Spurs are going after the Wolves' João Gomez?" Well, if what's his name? If Ryan's still about, because he's a Wolves supporter, Ryan might be able to tell us a bit more whether there's any traction in that and what the Wolves support are thinking of that at the moment. Aaron the Brit says, "Hi, John and Jose. Great win for us over Chelsea. Well done on your side getting the win. Kovacevic was man of the match for me today."
Yeah. I thought Man City played well today, to be fair. I mean, Chelsea did try, but City was class at the end of the day. Like, I mean, look, Erling Haaland does all the Haaland things again. The board out of shot just went past the post. We can comment on it later on, I guess. But, yeah, Man City off to a winning start again.
And then you've got Mark Cousins says, "Virgil and McAllister are in the Sheriff's 11 fantasy Premier team." And then you've got, have I missed it? Yeah, you've got the Belgian Hotspur, who's been a member for a month, says, "If we get a proper 6, I'll be buzzing for the season." And so will I, mate. So will I. Who else we got down here? Destiny 5 says, "Yeah, I hear Barcelona want Diaz, and Diaz wants them." Joris says, "I take Diaz in a heartbeat." You've got Nathan Treble 8, who's from your over at your channel, says, "Barcelona can't afford a Mars bar. He's not going to Spain yet."
Big up to Nathan, by the way. I hope you're well. And we had a good weekend and happy with the 3 points yesterday.
And then you've got David Clark saying, "Diaz is overrated, whereas Jota is well underrated." Destiny 5 says, "Liverpool want Anthony Gordon to replace Diaz."
Well, if that's the case, then they Liverpool fans keep Diaz, yeah, because Anthony Gordon's going nowhere. And I'll tell you what as well, if he decides to go, then it's going to be well excess of 100 mil. Let's be real, yeah? We're the take where he goes, yeah? Because at the end of the day, we've got a project going on at the minute. We cannot afford to lose our best players to a top 4 club. We just cannot. Cannot.
And then you've got Chris Peters, a member for a month, says, "Question, Jose, what youngsters do you think will start?" Are you talking about tomorrow's game, Chris? And if you are talking about tomorrow's game, the only place that any youngster starts is if any youngster start, it'll be in midfield, and it'll only be one. Maybe it won't be both. I don't think it'll be one, or he may not start any, because tomorrow, first Premiership game, he might go in with what's happened with Bissouma. He might go in with Sarr, Bentancur, and Madders, but he could be brave, and he could go in with a young boy called Bergvall. Could be brave and go for Bergvall, but otherwise, I don't know. I just got a feeling that it's going to be the tried and tested for him for the first game of the season. But yeah, I think our youngsters will get chances. I just don't know whether they'll get it from tomorrow. It remains to be seen. Where last year we could predict the starting 11, I think this year it's going to be a bit more difficult. I think the first 5 positions are sewn up already. We know who our 4 defenders are going to be, and our goalkeeper, if they stay fit, they'll be the starters. But then after that, I think spots are up for grabs. Although I will say, for me, Solanke starts tomorrow, and so does Son. It's who he picks on the right. But there we go. We're going to get to the Tottenham game later, but thank you very much for the question, Chris. Ryan G says, I did see it posted in the Wolves group earlier, though, David. Can't see us selling, though. So they can't see Gerald Gomez being sold. The Belgium Hotspur says, love the fighting Diaz, just needs some refining. And he's left-sided Salah. He's a left-sided Salah for me. Expect him to have a massive career. Brian Daigle is here, says, big up everyone in the chat and
Yes,
the brothers on my screen. My man John Sinclair, big up to you, geezer. Hope everyone is well. Come on, you Spurs. Good evening to you, Brian.
Too, Randy.
Hope you're well.
I tell you what, I love Randy. I mean, I watch him on another channel, yeah, and you know what it is, right? He speaks absolute sense. Absolute. He's passionate. He speaks sense, right? And he says it how it is.
Good friend of the channel, and he's a good friend of the community, Brian Daigle.
He is.
David Clark says Liverpool were chasing Diaz for well over 12 months. It was Spurs who tried to snatch him, not Liverpool. They were laid back because they thought that they could wait until the next window. It's exactly what I said. Liverpool always had a plan to sign Diaz in the summer. They always had the plan that they were going to sign him in the summer. But what happened was Tottenham bid for him, and it was accepted. They then told the agent, they told Liverpool that Tottenham's bid had been accepted, and then Liverpool had to bring their transfer plan forward to from summer to winter window, and they met the clause that Tottenham had paid, and off he went. Scott M's here from Canada. So for Scott, it's good afternoon to you, Scott. Yes, Liverpool are going to be fine. Too much talent, and Slot is a quality manager. People hoping they drop off will be disappointed.
Won't happen. They're not drop off. They're not drop off.
You've got a few people saying hello to each other. Brian is saying Spurs had scouts at the Wolves game yesterday checking out Gomez. And David Clark says, what was Sher doing trying to kiss that guy? He misses the Spurs game now. We're going to come. We're going game by game. We'll come to Newcastle. And John was at the game, so John will be able to tell us all, mate. The Belgian Hotspur Joris says, didn't realise all the chat was being read out. I best shut up. No, you know on this channel, I like to get through a lot of the chat because a lot of you are members here. So it's important that I read out your chats because you're members. So Ryan G says, I'm sure the club valued him at over 60 million. Are Spurs really going to spend that on Gomez? Danny, the Hotspur Hood, says he won't start any fresh young ones unless in major trouble. Good evening, Danny. I hope you're well, sir. David Clark says, letting Skip go straight away. They must know they have another midfielder in the bag, surely. And then Ryan saying there was 3 Gomez on the pitch for us yesterday. Hopefully they were looking at Totti Gomez. Fantastic.
Yeah,
right.
That is class.
Yeah, we're moving on to the next match. Right, the next match we have was Arsenal 2, Wolves 0.
Yeah, straightforward win for Arsenal. Would have it no other way. I mean, this is a massive season for Arsenal. Like, I mean, do you know what? Kai Havertz, right? I mean, listen, to be fair, when he signed him, I thought that's a massive mistake for Arteta. It's going to be on him. However, what he's done, right? I mean, Havertz has turned his career around, to be fair. Yeah, I thought he's really good yesterday. I think he really had a good game. And Sakkā doing Sakkā things, scored a lovely goal. But he needs to be matched. He needs to be fit. They cannot afford to lose him at any time because they haven't got a replacement for Sakkā yet. Play on that right side of midfield. That is the problem, yeah? And I think Arteta really knows that. But look at the back 4. You got, they look really good. I like Saliba. I like Gomez. I think they're really, really solid. They really are. You got Declan Rice doing Declan things. He's really good. Partey, if he stays fit, can have a big season for me. Odegaard, I mean, look, he's a really good player. We all know that. But they were comfortable yesterday, to be fair. But the David made a fantastic save. A really fantastic save in the first half. Was it the first? It might have been the first half. But I tell you something. I mean, look, Arsenal could push Man City all the way this season. I really do. But they have got to beat Man City if they are to win the title. I think they might have to win them both games to win the title for me. But Arteta is still there. And listen, if he doesn't win the title, is this guy going to be under pressure? That's the thing. So, for me, I mean, if I was an Arsenal fan, right, I would have got someone and definitely get it over the line. That's just my opinion. But Mikel Arteta is doing all right, but he has got to win a trophy this season. I really do. They spent 750, 800 mil, right? And they haven't won the league, they haven't even won the cup after that money they spent. So as for Wolves, I think they're going to really struggle this season. They need to, I'm sorry, Ryan, that you have to upgrade your team. You lost some good players. Kilman, you lost him, yeah. He's a massive, massive blow. Neto is a massive miss as well. However, you need to improve on the signs, mate. You really do. Gary O'Neill is a fantastic manager. It's on a 4-year contract, I believe. I could be wrong. I think I'm right. But they play good football. But if you lose Gomez, then that ain't good. That is not good at all. But I think Wolves should just be okay. But I think you got to fight a relegation battle for me. So there you go.
Yeah, Arsenal. Just to retype that again. Yeah, Arsenal for me. They've bought Calafiori in. Who I think is a very, very good player. And they've also got Yuri and Timber back from injury, who will be for them like a new player. So defensively, they've strengthened even more. So they had one of the meanest defenses last year, and they've strengthened it even more just by buying one and having one return from injuries like a new player as well. I still think that the problem side for Arsenal, if they're going to have a weakness, for me, the left-hand side is the weakness. And by that, I mean, who they're going to play at left back, because they haven't got a natural left back to play there. So who do they play at left back? And also for me, I find Martinelli quite easily influenced out of the game. So if you mark Martinelli tight enough, or you go in and you put some good, strong tackles into Martinelli, I think Martinelli goes into hiding. Sakkā doesn't hide. Martinelli does. Yeah. And so I think to myself that if Arsenal are going to be got at, it'll be on the left-hand side of their team. So they could, and I'm not saying they should because I'm not on Arteta, but they could be looking at strengthening the left-hand side. And they also, for me, although Havertz has done well in the false 9 role for them,
yeah,
for all intents and purposes, all they have is false 9 players, because
that's the thing.
Gabriel Jesus is a false 9 as well. He's not a natural 9, and people are saying that Arsenal, and even their own support, so I'm not speaking out of turn here, even their own support say they need to buy a striker. Now, interesting news today, and we haven't come to that game yet, but interesting news today was the Brentford Crystal Palace game. Ivan Toney not selected in the whole squad and wasn't injured. And then the comments that Thomas Frank made after the game, starting to wonder, are Arsenal going in for him? I'm just wondering. It's just a thought. I'm just wondering whether it's Arsenal that are going in for him. So
they need a striker. They definitely need a striker. No question about that. I mean, you just said, Havertz done really well at false 9. Jesus is a false 9. They need like an Ivan Toney. If they get Ivan Toney in, right, I think that can make a difference for Arsenal. And I know I should be talking about them on your Spurs channel, but Ivan Toney can make a difference in the Arsenal team. I really, really do. But they want to try and get Isak as well. They're not having him.
Yeah, Isak, he says.
And
as for Wolves, all I've got to say is I mean, we haven't spoken enough about Wolves. You think that Wolves will struggle, John? I think that Wolves are better than a lot of the teams, and I don't think Wolves will go down. I don't think Wolves will be anywhere near going down. And the reason for me, I put a lot of emphasis on their manager. I think their manager's grade A. I think their manager is absolutely superb, Gary O'Neill. I think he sets up the team really well, and it doesn't matter who they're playing against. He always sets up the teams really, really well. And for me, I like Gary O'Neill. and for me, I think Gary O'Neill has got a good footballing head. There's not many footballers that actually make good managers. Happens quite often. I mean, you can see with Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard. You got all these players that might have been great players in their pomp and that, but don't end up being the best of managers. Well, with Gary O'Neill, I think he's proved it. I think he proved it when he was at Bournemouth. I think they dealt with him really harshly, and I think he's proved it with Wolves as well. Because Wolves last season lost a load of players before the start of the season and didn't invest much, and Wolves were one of the favourites to go down. And boy, they look nothing other than, you know, through the season, they looked like they were going to get a top 10 finish. I mean, it petered out just at the end, but they looked like they were going to get a top 10 finish. So for me, I actually think the Wolves will be all right this season. I think they need to get, if they can invest, because I know that Wolves have sold over £100 million worth of talent. Wolves have made money. Wolves have made money, but they were one of the ones that people were talking about PSR and FFP and stuff like that. Although I don't believe in none of that shit anymore, and I've said this already, because people went around and circumvented the wheel on the 30th of June. I think someone got rid of someone called Yakuba Minte, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's still got Big Amir on at the club. That is the thing. I mean, he needs to be aware. That is the problem. I like Miggy, but we're going to come to him later on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But going back to Wolves quickly, I mean, I said Wolves will struggle. That don't get relegated. I think Wolves will be safe. They'll definitely be safe. They'll be about 13th or 14th this season, and that'll be a fantastic season again for Wolverhampton Wanderers, because they are a massive club, yeah? They deserve to be in the Premier League. They've got some good players there. You know what I mean? I'm going there next month for my first away game of the season, and I've been in Molineux last season. I enjoyed it. I probably lost my car keys, but that's not going to happen again. But you know what? Cracking atmosphere at the Molineux. Fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah. Right, sorry, I'm just going to jump because I've just noticed, Chris, my laptop, because I'm streaming this from my iMac, and I'm trying to look at my laptop because my iMac doesn't tell me, but Chris has gifted out 5 channel memberships, and I'm not sure who they've gone to because my laptop has kind of packed up, so and it doesn't tell me. So Chris, thank you very much for your generosity, mate, on gifted out 5 memberships. We have AJ saying, big up Jose Fella. The sheriff is saying to you, John, there is absolutely no talk of Arsenal winning the league here.
I want a yellow card anyway.
Right. G says, we're used to playing without Neto and Kilman. Without Neto. And Kilman is no world beater. We're a few players away from being a good side, in my opinion. You've got a few people saying, well done to Chris for gifting out the memberships. Yeah, I thank you very much, Chris. And then you've got the Joris saying, Jose, Sakkā is starting to remind me of Arjen Robben. We all know what he's going to do, but nobody can stop it. Painful to say, but it's true. Ryan says he doesn't believe that we're selling any more of the key players at Wolves. Destiny 5 says Chelsea are getting Tony. Mark Cook says Tony to Saudi. Chris Peters says only one gifted. People watching need to change their sub settings to get the memberships. Yeah, I did put a post out on the community page to say that we've got a really kind community here and that people do keep sending out gifts, but not enough people have got their settings switched on to receive a gift. So yeah, like the people are politely saying, if you would like a gift, then just switch your settings on and you can receive gifts. Not only for this channel, it can be for any channel. David Clark says, oops, Arsenal spoke to Tony and they didn't fancy him, so obviously he didn't make a good impression on Arsenal's board. Dominic Rutherford over at yours is saying, wasn't there rumours about Tony getting another ban for betting? I've not heard them rumours, Dominic, to be honest with you. I've thought that he's been a good boy, if you want to call it that, ever since he was found, ever since they caught him and he was charged and then given a ban. And he's played for England since then. He's come back for 6 months. He was in the England squad. England would never have taken him had there been any rumours about him at the time. So for me, I haven't heard anything at all.
I've heard of it either.
The Hotspur Hood saying, I'd rather have O'Neill than Ange. The Belgium Hotspur says, can any non-members put in their setting to accept gifts? Someone was kind enough to gift 5 of them. Destiny 5 says, Gary O'Neill, highly underrated, maybe next England manager contender. Ryan says that the manager said we'll be looking to strengthen. We've been linked with Vissa, but with them selling Tony, looks like we'll have less of a chance. Let me see if I can get that down. You've got another one from you, Wacky Angler 2 says,
Big
Evening
Wacky,
John.
mate. Hope you well, mate. Hi to you.
David Clark says, Geordies are the salt of the earth. As an industrial electrician of 50 years, I worked on a huge construction site with 170 of them. Some of the stories I could tell.
Wow. That's amazing.
And then you've got our friend again with the Hebrew writing saying Solomon. He's here again. Ryan G says, where's Paquetá's ban? His offences are worse than Tony's. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what goes on anymore at the FA. And Destiny 5 says, Tony didn't play today because he was stuck in the queue at the bookies. Oh, how naughty is that? Right, move along. Right, next game. Everton 0, Brighton 3.
Well, new season, new year, new season, same problems at Everton. Yeah, they made all these signings and they've not been playing them. I spoke to an Everton fan today on social media, 2 of them, of course, Bob Davis and Mayor Bond, saying that they're not playing the new players. Yeah, and Paul Gorse conceded again. And look, going forward, just cannot score goals. That's the thing. But Brighton, again, they got a young manager, Uhutsala, who came from St. Pauli. St. Pauli got them up for the Bundesliga too. Done a fantastic job there. And let's be honest, he's going to be the next best thing, I think. I think he's going to manage one of the top clubs. I could see him doing really well for Brighton. And Brighton have made some fantastic signings. They really have. I mean, they pinched Minte offers. Now, the reason Minte went to Brighton, because you had to sell him because of PSR. But unfortunately, I'm gutted that he went. And then some of our fan base saying that, yeah, but we're making good money. We're making good money for a guy who has a cut ball fish, yeah? There's other players could have soared. But they got some good players, Brighton, man. And I think they'd be top 8 this season. I've got them if this season because I think they're going to have a really good season. They're going to play some fantastic football. I think they're fun to watch. The fans are brilliant. And I think it's going to be really good. But Everton, they got you lot next week. And I tell you what, they have to start well, Everton. And if they don't, they could be in big trouble this season.
Sorry, I was just, someone's asked me to put your channel link in again, so I'm doing it now. Right, so there you go. I've just put John's channel link in again for someone that's just requested it. So, yeah, for me, I thought to myself, Brighton, do you know what? I've put the wrong link in. I've got to do this again. Delete my comment. All right. I'm going to do it again. Sorry. Yeah, for me, I had Everton set up really, really well. Dyche always has them set up. Defensively, they're sound. They were one of the best defenses last year, regardless of where they finished in the league. They were really, really good defensively. And the way he sets them up. Yesterday, I haven't got a clue what happened because they were being torn to shreds. They were being torn to pieces from all sides of the pitch. It wasn't that down the middle or just one wing or the other. All throughout the pitch, they were getting torn. And yeah, I know that Everton have made a couple of signings. They started with the Aston Villa boy played centre midfield. He replaced Onana, but then the rest of that team would have been the team that they would have had last season, Everton. Yeah. So the couple of boys, so they started a new player, Ibarunum, but I think they had a couple of other signings on the bench of new signings. But the signings that they've got are not the strongest. However, Everton they've got the problems, haven't they, in the background of trying to sell the club on. Mashiri's trying to sell the club on and stuff like that. So they've got all that going on in the background. They've got the new stadium that they move into next year that's still being built at Bramley Docks at the moment. So they've got that to contend with as well. So Everton have got quite a bit to contend with. But yesterday kind of threw me because I thought Everton would be okay. As I said, especially defensively. And yesterday's game kind of threw me. When I saw what Brighton did to them, kind of threw me completely. And the fact that Brighton had all these Brighton have got a young team. Brighton have got a young team. All right, Milner's not exactly young, but Brighton have got a young team. And then when they were throwing people like Adingra and stuff like that off the bench, I was like, wow, Brighton done really, really, really well. So, yeah, it was a good result for Brighton. Their manager, he's 31 years of age, and there's going to be players. I think Dunk's older than him. Milner was older than him, so it's going to be an interesting mix. But at the end of the day, age is nothing but a number, and if the guy has done well, at clubs he's been at, then that's the reason why Brighton went for him. Brighton go for a certain manager all the time, and yeah, there's nothing better. He started really, really well, and Brighton are, as they say, Brighton are top of the league. As one of my Brighton fans kindly sent me a message and told me we are top of the league. So Brighton are at the moment currently top of the league. So there we go. So
and the thing is, like, Everton's going to escape the drop again. After they're going to do it, they've done it every year. They can't keep doing this year in, year out. They cannot, because you don't want to win the championship in that new stadium, Family Dock Stadium. You just cannot. Because at the end of the day, right? I mean, the Premier League is an unforgiving league. If you don't start well, you could be in trouble, and Everton could be in trouble.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they can be in trouble. Like I said, to me, I defend Everton, and I will, and I defended them saying that they'd be really good defensively, but I found that that may not be the case after I watched yesterday. And then obviously, as well, in saying that, now that they've got what's his name, the boy that got sent off, Young, who's another player. He's another player that played last season for him, but he's got sent off. And that means that they've got to find another player now to play in that position as well. And Jared Brathwaite is injured as well. Jared Brathwaite was injured because he wasn't even in the squad yesterday. So Everton have got some problems to contend with now. We haven't got to the Tottenham game yet, but we play tomorrow night. And then our first home game of the season will be against Everton. So I will discuss that later. Right, so I've put the link in for John there. For people that said they wanted it. It's there again for John. And then you've got what we got here. We got the result. Here we go. The result. David Clark says the result was a freak. Everton battered them and missed the worst sitter I've ever seen. If that had gone in, they would have won that game.
Yeah, chances though.
Yeah,
chances.
Mark Cousins says would be funny for Everton to move into their new stadium in the Championship.
Wow.
Ooh. Top Spurs. Darren, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Says, hope you're doing well, Jose and guest, and all. Come on, you Spurs. Daz, your beginning to your title hasn't gone according to plan, has it, my son? But it's only someone messaged me in the group and said, where are you in the predictions? And I was like, well, someone's not told me something correctly. The first week of game week 1's not even over. And you're already telling us, the people are already saying we're top of the league already. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Tot Spurs, you've got a bit to do. There's been some healthy points this week. That's all I'm going to say. The Belgian also says Milner is like 8 years older than their manager. They looked very open though. Gary Douglas says Everton are always the relegation escape specialists, lads. So he's reminding us of that. And there's the link for John's channel.
Thank you very much.
As a good mod, Chris has put in the link for Colin's channel at Talk and Ball. Right, next game that we move on to is just a little matter of Newcastle 1, Southampton 0. Now, the floor is yours. Rip.
Thank you very much, man. How long have I got? That's the thing. Listen, I mean, went to the game yesterday. Do check out my match day vlogs. I've done a vlog yesterday. Hit the like button, please, on my channel, John Sinclair TV. Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, the game is a bit of a cagey game, to be fair. I mean, we wasn't rip roaring, as they say, going forward, going whole and that. I mean, Southampton look a good side as well going forward. They kept the ball well, and we did have that many chances, but the game totally changed when Fabian Schär got sent off for a headbutt. But we look at it again, right? I mean, Ostado and Diaz went fouled Schär. They both got up, right? I mean, it seems to me that Diaz walked up to Schär, and then Schär kind of pushed it. Well, he went into Schär, and then he didn't like it. So Schär decided to, went eyeball to eyeball with Diaz. And looked like he headbutted him. But he didn't. You watch it again, they both came together. Yeah? But Diaz decided to do an Oscar-winning performance by flinging himself over. He decided to just took a dive sort of thing, tried to get Schär sent off, which he did. Right? So Schär got sent off for that. Diaz got booked. That's wrong. I'm sorry. If Schär's going to get sent off, so should Diaz. I think he should appeal against that. They have to appeal against that because he didn't touch him. Look at it again. He did not touch him. Simple as that. And then at half time, if you look at it, I don't know if you saw it, Jules here, then Dan Burn underneath the tunnel.
The half time in the tunnel. I saw it.
I think he could be in trouble for that as well. If the referee puts under his support, he'd be in big, big trouble for that as well. I'm sorry to say. But he went for Diaz. They would have none of it. But back to the game, Murphy came off. I didn't think he had a good game, to be fair, before he got subbed off. Yeah. We got the goal, half time. We was gifted the goal where the goalkeeper's error, straight to Isak. Isak pulled it back to Joe Linton. Joe Linton guided it into the far corner. We got 1-0. But at the end of the day, right, I mean, do we deserve to go ahead? Just about. But Southampton had the goal offside as well. I thought Joe Linton's excellent. Bruno was fantastic. I thought Sean Longstaff, not my favourite player, I can't lie, but he put in a good shift as well. And I thought Livramento was good. I thought Lewis Hall was poor. Yes, he did clear off the line, but he was still poor. Gave the ball away twice. One of them should have resulted in a goal. But we have to defend. It was like Shahouse's performance for Newcastle. We have to defend. A 1-goal lead. I thought we did it really well. But Southampton missed a couple of good chances. One of them, Diaz, should not be on the pitch. Shot went wide, took a deflection out for a corner. That was going in. And then Lewis Hall cleared off the line. And then all of a sudden, Southampton press. 2-3 headers straight at Nick Pope. Made a fantastic save, by the way. But it wasn't a classic. We got the 3 points. But seeing that, onwards and upwards, and all the talk about is going to be that Fabian Schär sending off, which was not a sending off. But if the intent was there, it gives us a decision. However, he didn't touch him. But Diaz fouled him first. I totally agree. But Diaz is 6'1", and he just went down like a sack of potato trying to get himself. Russell Martin, I will say something about Russell Martin, right? Come out and said that it was a deserved red card. Then he kicked off and saying that we deserved to get some out of the game. No, he didn't, because he had over an hour to beat us, and he did not do it. We won that game, yeah? And I think Russell Martin's comments is a disgrace. The comment said that it was definitely a red card. It was not a red card. Of course he's going to defend this guy. He's going to defend him. He'll defend this player. But when he watches it on video, he's going to be embarrassed. Yeah? But we've got the win. We need a defender. We need a right side mid if we are to kick on. Because if you look at it, Shell's going to be out for 3 games. Dan Burn could be in trouble as well. Right? So we need a defender going to the Bournemouth game week on Sunday. But we've got no European football this season, so we've got no excuses for Eddie Howe. He's got no excuses now. He's got to get us either in a trophy or get us in the top 6, preferably top 4. But we haven't won a trophy since 69, a domestic trophy since 1955. That is 69 year domestically. We've not won a trophy. 55 year, not won a major trophy. But we need to win something. That's the thing. But I'm happy with the 3 points, though.
What do you think of Southampton, though? Personally, John, I believe that out of the 3, that have gone down. Sorry, they've come up. For me, in my predictions before the season started, I felt that Southampton were probably the one that were most equipped to stay up, and I had them finishing in 17th, like one place above the relegation zone. But I had Leicester and Ipswich both being in the bottom three. Since yesterday, I mean, I know they played you yesterday, but didn't they have a couple of players that they brought in as well that weren't eligible for yesterday? Didn't they make 2 signings? I thought they bought the boy from Chelsea, Ochukwu, the midfielder from Chelsea, and Cameron Archer from
Villa.
But they bought other players as well, and I just thought they've done enough. I think they've done enough to probably, because I think there are some other sides that have to look over their shoulders that were in the Premiership last year. Thankfully, you'll know that Newcastle are not one of them. For me, I had them staying up. So I don't know what your thoughts are because you saw them firsthand yesterday. I mean, it's early, it's only the first game of the season, but what are your thoughts? Do you think they'll stay up or do you think they'll go down?
They need a number 9. They just bought Matty Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon as well for 15 mil. That's going to go through, but they need a striker. I mean, if Russell Martin has gone faithful Alcaraz, just come back on loan for Juventus, Adam Armstrong's not a Premier League striker. He is not. He's a fantastic championship player, but he's not a great Premier League striker. He's not. I'm not going to lie, but they need a number 9. Someone's going to make a huge difference. I mean, look, they need a huge difference. Will Southampton stay up based on yesterday's performance? Not at all. They were the better team. They had 82% of the ball against us in the second half. So they had more of the play, more of the bar, couldn't finish. But I think Southampton will get away with it this season. I really do, because I think they play fantastic football. They keep the ball well. But I do think Russell's got to change up a little bit if he can. But if that's his philosophy, he ain't going to change it. Simple as that. But I think they might just get away with it this season. And that's on because they play fantastic football.
So to me, last season, when we're looking at the teams that came up, John, I was my thinking behind what I've said was also as well. If I looked at last season, the people that had the storming run at the end of the last 10 games were Southampton. So looking at Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, and Leeds, because it's a 4-way teams, weren't it? Out of all of them, the people that finished off the strongest last season were Southampton. And for me, as I said, with the business that they've done, I just think they can possibly stay up. And then you've got to bear in mind as well that Southampton were only in this Premiership a couple of years ago anyway. So anyway, it was a 1-0 victory to you guys. We will talk Newcastle more and we will talk Tottenham, but we'll move on first of all to the next game. You have got, let me see what Belgian Hotspur says. Agreed, either way, 2 yellows or 2 reds. Chris Peters is saying Diaz should have had a yellow. The Belgian Hotspur says, was funny when Burns was just picking up Diaz like a bag of shopping. He also says, I thought Southampton were by far the better team before the red card, though, 100%.
Second half, I'll put that more of the ball, 100%. But we'd have to defend. That's all we can do. I mean, he had chances though in the second half. I mean, Harvey Barnes could have been 1-on-1, but his first touch is absolutely so heavy, he was never going to catch it. If he got his touch right, 1-on-1 with the keeper. But other than that, we didn't have that much of a chance, really. I mean, their keeper didn't really have to make a save in the second half. But I think we defended well in parts. We really did. But we moved. Got 3 points.
Yeah. And that's what I said earlier, didn't I? I said it's hard at this time of the year to gauge where you are because it takes everyone 5 or 6 games to get into their strides. So whatever you actually get for the first 5 or 6 games, it's just a bonus for every team that gets them because you're not there or thereabout. You're not there hitting your straps, are you? So yeah, it's 3 points in the bag. Then the same can be said for Man United and for all the other teams so far that have won. They've done well. They've all got 3 points. I don't even know. Was there any? I don't think there was any draws so far this weekend. But I have to think about it. I don't think there was. I think it's either 3 points or bust this weekend for everybody. David Clark says, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. I dread this fixture. My missus and one of my sons, who are Leicester City supporters, are going to the game. I can't win whatever the result. And Scotty M is saying, with the way Diaz went down, I'm shocked he could continue on with the game. Right. Oh, no, there was a draw. The very next game was a draw. Sorry, I lied. Forest won, Bournemouth won.
I think, first off, I'm going to say Daniel. I wish him a speedy recovery, by the way, because that looks like a horrific injury by the Brazilian. I wish him a speedy recovery. That did not look good. It could be out for a season, if not more than that.
He's got a broken ankle.
That's not good. Wish him speedy recovery, man, because that looks horrific. But yeah, I mean, Forest looked good, I thought, and both teams were going for it. I mean, Chris Wood got the goal, and then they got equaliser, late equaliser as well, Bournemouth. And I think Bournemouth will be fine again this season. I mean, they've got some good players there, and I think Forest will be fine as well, just so because they got Milinkovic as well at the back from Fiorentina. I think he's going to be a really good player. And alongside him, you've got Murillo as well, which I think is getting better and better and better every week. But again, I mean, you've got Morgan Gibbs-White. If he's on song, and you've got Elanga, if he's on song as well.
Hudson-Odoi,
yeah.
Sangare in midfield with Dominguez holding the middle.
Yep, he's got to be a big season. Sangare's got to be a massive season for this guy because he now knows he's got to show up, and I think he will show up this season. We got to play them in a week's time in the cup. That's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy, man. But I truly believe that I think under Nuno, I think they'll be fine this season. I really do. Made a couple of changes there in the team. They do play counter-attacking football with pace, and I think they'll be fine. No doubt about it. If they hold the defence properly, that'll be fine. But Bournemouth, they got Evan Nielsen as well. The club record buy from Porto, 40 million quid with Adams on top.
Wasn't even in the squad yesterday.
I think he'd be in the squad next week then.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he wasn't in the squad yesterday. So you're talking about they've bought him. So they've now got their front man, which yesterday they played with 3 up front yesterday. They were interchanging because they didn't have a 9. So it was a false 9, if you like. But now they've got Evan Nielsen. Yeah, they've got a 9 again. So you're quite right.
Yeah. They got a good coach as well in Areola.
Yeah.
I like as a coach, by the way. He's very, very calm as well. Sometimes he gets mad, but they lost Lloyd Kelly to us. And I thought Neto and Gore made some couple of good saves yesterday. He's an excellent goalkeeper, by the way. Always rated that goalkeeper. And yeah, I mean, a point is about right at the end of the day, I guess.
Yeah, so they've lost. You're quite right. They've lost Lloyd Kelly, who's gone to yourselves. They've also got Marco Senesi, who's out injured at the moment. So their centre-back partnership yesterday was Zabanyi, who's 21 years of old, Ukrainian under-21 international, who's 21. And they've bought Dean Hussein. They bought him from Juve. He's only 19. He's a Spanish centre-back. So they've got 2 young players playing centre-half. So please, when people talk about age don't matter. If you're good enough, that doesn't matter how old you are. They've got a 21-year-old and a 19 playing for them at centre-half in the Premiership. So
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, people say, some of our families say, they're quite young. They're not going to handle Isak, blah, blah, blah. They're really good defenders. They're fantastic defenders, man. And I think they're going to get better and better and better. Do you know what I mean? But if you're good enough, you're old enough. Simple as that.
And then you've got people saying, yeah, there's a draw. Right. Who broke his ankle? Danilo, the Brazilian centre midfielder, holding midfielder that Bournemouth have got, went up for a header in midfield and with a Forest player. And when he's come down, he's landed awkwardly on his foot and he broke his ankle in yesterday's game. David Clark says the key for Bournemouth is that they have a quality coach. Joris says, I worry for Forest this season personally, 18th. Gary Douglas is saying we go Nottingham Forest in the Cup, John, which John has just said.
Yes, we have indeed, and that's not going to be an easy game. And you know what? We beat them last season at City Ground, but are we ready for them? I hope so. I really do hope so. We need a defender and we need a right side of mid, and then we'll be ready for the season. But we don't know which team's going to come out. They might put a weakened team out. Do you know what I mean? Because Forest wants to go for stay in the Premier League, and we got to play our strongest squad when it comes. And yeah, bring it on.
Yeah. So with Ryan saying, I think I went 1-1 the predictions. Ryan, you got double figures in the predictions. I'm not going to talk predictions today because there's still one more game to go. But all I can say is that there's one man that's out on top at the moment. There's a few of you that have got double figures, but there's one person that's clear, and I already mentioned it earlier in the show. Or clear is up there at the top. Right, the next game that we've got to go to is yesterday afternoon. No, sorry, the Sunday evening game. West Ham 1, Villa 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, West Ham spent a bit of money, over 100 mil. I'm surprised that they started Füllkrug as a subs bench. I'm quite surprised. Aston Villa, I truly believe under Unai Emery, they got another fantastic season at Villa Park. And then Onana scored a wonderful header. Well, it's a close-range header, but where's the marking? Where was their marking? Absolutely shocking marking from West Ham.
Do you know who was marking him?
No idea. He was
Mikel Antonio. And Mikel Antonio let him go. He started off with a run with him, and then he stopped, and Anna continued, and Anna got the goal. It was Mikel Antonio at fault.
Well, you got to go with him, and that's poor defending by Antonio. Very poor marking there. And then I thought Villa could have gone 2 up, which is a fantastic clearance off the line by Rodriguez, I think it was, where they broke through 1-on-1. And then West Ham got a penalty, which is deserved. And then Paqueta wasn't going to miss the pen. Very calm with a penalty kick. And then West Ham scored later on with Johan. But West Ham is going to take time. You've got to give this guy time, Lopetegui, time, because he's only new to it, yeah? I mean, you've got to give the lad time, and they got to gel in. They got some players there. They got Todibo, Jean-Claude Todibo. They got him, Füllkrug. They got Rodriguez. And they got Summerfield as well. And listen, you look at the team they've got. They've got a really good players there, individual players there. But it will take time. You got to trust Lopetegui. And West Ham will be fine this season. I think they'll be top 10 this season. And they've got to play Füllkrug from the start now.
And you're saying that Villa are going to be all right. So my thoughts before this game, right, is I'm hearing a lot of jingle jangle, John, from people saying West Ham have won the transfer window. West Ham won the transfer window. West Ham have come out top in the transfer window. I don't subscribe to it. I don't subscribe to it at all, because at the end of the day, when you're bringing in 8 players, 10 players, however many players they've brought in, you got to gel these players, like you just said. You guys just said it. So I said it's going to take West Ham time to gel all these players in. And then you're going to have a load of players that are going to be pissed off if these players take their places. You've also got a new manager that's coming in, brand new, so he doesn't know, or he wouldn't have known, and they don't know his style at all. This is not just the new paid players, the players that he's inherited as well. And I just think it's going to take time for West Ham, and I'm hearing all this jingle jangle, and I don't subscribe to it. Then with Aston Villa, unlike you, John, I don't think Villa are going to have a great season. I really don't. And the reason, and then you can come in on it, right? The reason why I think that is, like yourselves the season before, John, when you was in the European Champions League, not in the Europa, not in the Conference League, we're talking Champions League. Newcastle struggled the season before. And it's a hard shift to put in to be in 4 competitions. And I think Villa may have bought and have got a deeper squad than Newcastle probably had the season before. But I don't think that Villa's squad has got any stronger, if that makes any sense. And they bought 8 players in, and I don't see that they've got any stronger. They sold 2 really good players. Who is Douglas Luiz's replacement? I don't see who Douglas is. Who's his replacement? Okay, but there's levels, and for me, Luiz is levels. So I don't see an improvement. And then when you're looking at Diaby, who's Diaby's replacement? I don't see the levels. Do you see what I mean? So I've got nothing against Aston Villa, and I've got nothing against West Ham. I've got nothing against any of the teams, but they're just my opinions before the season starts. I might be proved wrong, but for me, I just think that Villa have not. I don't think they've improved. I think they've just added a lot of numbers. They've padded out their squad because you're going to need it to go into 4 competitions, and they probably would have learned a lot of what happened to Newcastle the season before last, and thought, you know what, there's safety in strength in numbers, and they've gone and done that, but. I don't see them being any stronger. And West Ham at home, I thought the London Stadium, they're trying to build a fortress there, and they've already been beaten first game of the season. And you know, at the end of the day, I just think that West Ham, it will take time to gel all their players. Same as Villa. If Villa are going to use the 8 that they bought, it's going to take them time as well to gel their players. But I don't think Villa are stronger than what they were last season, because I don't see who they've bought that replaces the 2 big boys that they sold.
Yeah, I kind of totally agree. It's gonna, you know what it is, right? I mean, I don't think Villa's going to get top 4 this season anyway. To be fair, that's number 1. Number 2, I've gotten 7th this season from 4th last season, 7th this season. But Unai Emery is a fantastic manager. He really is. You mentioned there they had the numbers as well. Then it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come in. But you mentioned Luis as well. Luis is going to be a big, big miss. Gone to Juventus, yeah. And Nano will come good. I think Watkins will be fine. No question about that. Leon Bailey, when he stays fit, it'll be okay. And Diego Carlos could be off to Fulham, possibly. And yeah, you said they got numbers, you know what I mean? But depends if they get drawn in the Champions League. I think they could be in for a shock, Villa. Because when we played in the Champions League, we went all the way, and we finished bottom. But you got Unai Emery. He could do things, but I just don't think Villa are ready for it yet. I really don't.
Catching up with the chat, Ryan says, got to gel the players together first. Didn't expect many to start. David Clark says, sorry, the only difference in the result was West Ham's shocking subs. The Belgium Hotspur says, being Belgium, because he's from, I know Onana well. I didn't want him at Spurs. Hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think he's that good personally. And that's coming from a Belgian saying about his own Belgian player. David Clark says, 3 in midfield will never work for West Ham. Orazaham, good evening, sir. I hope you're well. Thank you for being here. Says, why do Juventus rejects always want to join us? The Belgian Hotspur says, Jose, agreed. West Ham have to gel, and it's a total new style of play. I don't subscribe to that either, Jose. Ryan G says, I think that they will have a good season, but it'll be tough for them to make top 4 again. I had them in 7th, I think. He also says that Luis and Kamara are big misses, and if they sell Diego Carlos as well. David Clark says, they weren't Juventus rejects. It was a new incoming coach who brought his own players in to the positions that Bentancur and Kulu played. So sorry that you are wrong. I don't know whether he's talking about Tottenham or was he talking about the fact that Villa have taken Balanchea and Illing Jr. from Juve. I'm not sure who they were.
Yeah. They took those 2 for Luis.
And Scott M saying Villa will easily finish above us. They did a good job of strengthening their bench for the tougher competition. The Belgian Hotspur says Pep wanted DL back, so that says it all. Ooh, Douglas Luiz. Okay, he wanted Douglas Luiz back, and that says it all. David Clark says the Champions League will swallow Villa up. And Chris Peters is saying, I think Villa are going like Spurs under Poch. Aim for the money in the Champions League, but get a good position in the Premier League. Reject the home cups. We've got a few comments coming in tonight. Now, today's games. We're on to today's games. Brentford 2, Crystal Palace 1. What say you, Mr. John?
All eyes were on Matt Gehi, and Gehi today played as captain for Crystal Palace. But I was coming back from Bristol, didn't see the game. But what I've heard, it was a fault for the first goal. Ebemu cut inside him, didn't get close to him, and he scored from it as well. But apparently his head was all over the place. I spoke to a lot of Newcastle fans. The heat is all over them. It's all over the place. And he didn't seem interested because he's thinking about going to Newcastle United. Well, if we talk about, I mean, Steve Pash keeps saying about a generation of talent. We didn't say that today, didn't we? Because he just didn't play well enough, yeah? As a £70 million defender, you know what I mean? But personally, I'll walk away because they're asking for a ridiculous amount of money. I'll go for Tomari or Logan Costa, one of the two, to come to Newcastle a lot cheaper. But for me, he only played, 29 games last season for Palace? And now they want 70 mil on the back of the England performance, yeah. But Palace had a good goal disallowed from Esse. Apparently, there's been a block in the box as well. And it's perfectly great free kick goal from Esse, but it's fouls in the box as well. But there must be fewer than that. But they got the equalising goal, and then Brentford won the game. But Thomas Frank, good start for him. But as for Oli Glasner, it's back to the drawing board and expect Newcastle to make another offer, probably the final offer. But for me, I'm not sure if he's worth 70 million quid. What do you think of that, Jose? 70 million quid. Is he worth 70 million quid though?
Right, the guy was highly touted. He came through all the England under 20, under 9th, 15s, 16s, 18s, 21s. He won the World Cup with England under 21s many moons ago. He was a starlet coming through the Chelsea Academy. He was highly rated. Got his move to Crystal Palace. In fact, since he's gone to Palace, and I'm going to be fair to the fella, he's shone at Crystal Palace ever since he's gone there. He's become the first team player. Since he's gone there, he's been excellent. Got made team captain. I think last season he had a really good season in the games that he played, and that catapulted him into the England squad. And in the England squad, because of injuries, it so happened that he ended up jumping the queue there and became the centre half as well. But England wouldn't have done as well as they did if it wasn't for Guehi in the competition, because Guehi in the first few games played out of his skin and saved England and was star man and man of the match. I'm not surprised about the money that Crystal Palace are after him. People need to understand Crystal Palace are not skint. Crystal Palace do not need to sell, right? So the ball and everything is in Steve Parish's court. A lot of these players have got 3 years left, 2-3 years left on their contract.
Two left.
Okay, 2 years. Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of these players, because I'm not just talking now about Guehi. I'm referring to Crystal Palace players. They've got 2 to 3 years left on their contracts, and they're not going to go and sell them. And if you want to buy them, you're going to have to bust the bank to do it. Now, your Guehi is now, I think, what did you go? Did you bid? Was it 65 including add-ons you just bid?
Yeah, what we've done, we bidded, I think it's sort of like 48 mil, that got turned down. Then 55 mil got turned down. Then closed on 60, same result. And then 65 plus add-ons.
Oh, I thought you'd gone in for 60 plus 5 in add-ons is what I thought the last bid was.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and then they turned it down. They turned that down. The last offer 65 mil all in, and they still turned it down. And Steve Pash commented and said that we had no offers at all whatsoever. And also as well, he must have been in. I don't know how true it is, but I honestly think they must have been into Gay's ear and said, "Look, hold out for a Champions League club. Hold out for a Champions League club. Yeah, don't go to Newcastle. We're not in the Champions League. Yeah." But the reason he's saying that, because they don't really want to sell him to us, they'd rather sell him to a top 4 club, yeah, rather to us, because Palace think we're going to be a threat to Palace if Guehi came to Newcastle. We're a bigger club than Crystal Palace, no disrespect, but at the end of the day, Mark wants to come to Newcastle. The fee's been agreed, on personal terms, that's not a bother. But it's how much Palace are willing to take from us. And I think 70 mil is a lot of money for us, including English. The reason they want that kind of money because he's English, yeah? Personally, with the 70 mil, I'd go for Tomari from AC Milan. He's a fantastic defender. Milan will sell if the right money was offered. But I think they might have left it too late because Milan will want to get a replacement very, very quickly. You know what I mean? They probably won't have time for it. But we shot ourselves in the foot, though, Jose, because this is the sort of thing you got to do in the summer. Get your targets in early before pre-season, yeah? And I keep telling people time and a time, year after year after year, and people just don't seem to listen to us. Yeah, you know what I mean? People say still time. The bottom line is, right, it's coming home to roost. We can still get a defender in, but I think we're in a rush now to get one in. We do need a defender, though, Jose, very quickly. Because
the reason why I said it, sorry, John, the reason why I said it is because I'm not just talking Guehi now. I'm talking Eze as well. With Eberechi Eze, they said that there was a price that you could reach, and there was a release clause of 60 million plus 8 million add-ons, and nobody that clause finished on Friday or whatever it was, and nobody bid for Eze, nobody at all, which now means that you can probably get Eze, but it'll probably cost you 80 million, right? So more money than what it was before, but you could probably break the payments down. But I feel that because they don't have to sell Palace don't have to sell, so I feel that with Eze, Guehi, and there's been offers for Joachim Andersen as well, only 20 million, so they're nowhere near the money they're looking at Guehi and probably Eze. But even with Andersen, they don't have to sell, and so therefore even the bid for Andersen, they've turned that down as well, because they do not have to sell. So at the end of the day, I understand, they're not in a rush, they don't have to sell any of these players at all, and at the end of the day, the score yourself, John. Money talks. So it doesn't matter if he's speaking to you or anything. If someone said, look, I'm going to give you 100 mil for your player, that club will sell him. Now, I'm not saying that's what they want for Guehi. I'm not saying that's what they want for Eze. But if you offered a certain amount of money that satisfies them, they will then sell him. They obviously think they haven't had enough money bid for Guehi at the moment, Anderson, and or Eze to sell any of these players. With Elise, it was different. I think Elise must have had some sort of a release clause, and Bayern triggered it, and they let him go.
Yeah, totally agree. But the thing is as well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the clubs are scared now of spending so much money because of PSR. That's the thing. It's killing the Premier League now. They're not the pulling power anymore because of the FFP PSR. Look at clubs, right? They're buying young talent here, and they go to like Germany, Italy, and Spain, right? Because I tell you what, at least it's gone to Bayern Munich, yeah? Conor Gallagher, I'm sure, eventually go to Atletico Madrid, eventually, right? And let's be real, right? If we keep sending our best talent to abroad because of PSR, it will not be a good look for the Premier League. They need to scrap the PSR. They need to scrap it all together because clubs are threatening to spend the money. Look at the January window. It was hardly any money spent. I think it's something like 8 million's being spent, and that's it.
Okay, I don't believe in PSR or FFP, and I said this earlier, and I'll say it on my streams. You don't obviously watch me, but I've said it on my streams many a time. I don't believe in any of that. I think it's all a load of bollocks because all the teams that should have been in trouble were not in trouble. We're not in trouble last season, and will not be in trouble this season because there was a lot of horse trading that happened on or before the 30th of June. Because some of these clubs, obviously, you read the rules, and they got clever people within the building to circumvent a way around the rules. Not illegally, they've done it properly. So clubs like yourselves, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and there was another team as well. You all traded amongst each other.
Yeah, and so Chelsea, Villa, and Everton.
Okay, and you've done it right. People may not like it, but you had some clever people at your clubs who circumvented the rules and did this in order not to fall foul of the rules. So at the end of the day, you've done nothing wrong.
Right? No, you haven't. And you know what it is, right? And you know what it is, right? I mean, they've already done this. I get a lot of people come up to us and say, especially Newcastle fans, are saying the reason they brought this in because we had a takeover. So if we'd not had a takeover, I guarantee you something now, this FFP PSL will not have come to play because the Premier League are scared that Newcastle is going to cause damage on spending. Yeah, they don't want Newcastle winning a title. They don't want Newcastle winning any cups in the FA Cup and the Carling Cup, Carling Cup or Carabao Cup, whatever they would call it, right? But they don't want to upset the Big Six. That's what the Premier League is like. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting. And I could be wrong. You might think differently. Do you know what I mean? But this is the thing. But Man City's taking them to court as well for it as well. I don't know what you make of it. But that could be for another day.
Yeah, it'd be for another day.
Let's go back to football.
Just going back to this day, this game, I thought Brentford would struggle this year. I had Brentford to be relegated. I thought that Brentford have been on a decline season after season, and they keep dropping lower and lower and lower down the leagues. They're going to lose Tony. People said to me, Tony won't be sold because Thiago, the replacement, got injured. And I said to people, well, I remember Brentford signing a young lad from the German league called Sharda. And he was bought 2 seasons ago, but he was injured, but he's back this season, and therefore they can let Tony go because although Thiago's injured, they got Sharda who can fit in. Who started today? Sharda. So at the end of the day, Brentford done well, beating Palace 2-1 today. It was a good game between them both, but at the end of the day, I think Glasner is a very good manager. I think they look very light in midfield because I saw them play. Is it Will Hughes played alongside Wharton? Now, I think Wharton's a good player, but if you're Crystal Palace and you want to move on to the next level, you want to be moving away from Will Hughes and bringing in somebody else into that midfield. I think they've got Doucouré still out injured at the moment, Palace, and he'll probably come into the midfield when he returns from injury. I don't know whether Palace have got enough depth on their bench because I looked at their bench today and I didn't think there was enough depth there today. But Glasner as a manager, top shelf. He's another person who's got a system that he wants to play, and he's played it in other leagues and it works really well. And we saw last year he came to the Premiership, and the last half of the season, Crystal Palace, a bit like I said, Southampton were the team that stormed the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Second half of the season, one of the teams that stormed it was Crystal Palace. So I think Palace will be fine. I don't think Palace will sell their assets again unless they're given top dollar for it. I understand Steve Parish. It may not sound good for other teams that are going for their players. So that would be someone like Newcastle, someone like Tottenham, who are rumoured to be in for Eze. Fulham, I think, whoever is going, or West Ham, whoever are going for Anderson. At the end of the day, for us as clubs, it ain't good, but Palace don't have to sell. Just a quick one before we move on to the next game. Donna Cullen's been a member for 1 month. She says, Mr. Jose, it's been a wonderful month with you. Thank you very much, Donna Cullen. And the last game of the weekend, finished just before we came on, is Chelsea 0, Manchester City 2.
Yeah. Game of the week for me. And do you know what it is, right? I mean, I know what Maresca is trying to do, play 4-3-3, trying to play the ball around the back, which is high risk as well. The way that does it is very, very risky, but they've been getting away with it, like, today. But the team he picked was fine. Yeah, they played Nkuku on the left side, Corp on the right, and Nicholas Jackson up front. Yeah, but again, they need a striker. They need a striker, Chelsea. I'm not sure about Nicholas Jackson. I really don't. But he does try, but he missed some big chances. Big chances. He's done it again today. But I've got Chelsea in the top 4 of the season because I think they will probably find a way, in my opinion. People might laugh at us, but I think they'll probably get top 4 of the season and they will get it right. But Man City, I mean, once Erling Haaland got the first goal, I think it was game over, to be fair. Chelsea did try, huff and puff, but I thought City were brilliant. I thought De Bruyne should have was unlucky for that shot when just past the post. And then I thought Kovacic had a fantastic game today in the midfield. I like that guy. He's absolutely brilliant under Pep. Scored a cracking goal as well, even though Sanchez did his best to save it. Still in the back of the net. Could have been more goals, but I thought Bernardo Silva today was excellent as well. Jose, I don't know if you watched it. He was excellent today. And good stuff for City. I think Chelsea will definitely improve. They got Wolves next week, I think, and definitely improve. But who's going to stop Man City, though, this season? Who's going to stop them? Because I've got them winning the title again,
Yeah, I had Man City to win the title, and the only reason why I said it is because they've been there, they've seen it, they've done it, they've printed the shirt, the T-shirt, they've got Premier League copyright on the Premier League and stuff. So yeah, but in saying that, I have gone for Man City But I think Pep has made some comments saying we've dominated the league already. Now we need to dominate. And I think they're looking at Europe. I think they want to do a serious assault on the European Champions League this year. And I've got them down to win the Champions League, even though how great Real Madrid's Galacticos may well be. I've got Man City. I think Man City will win the Champions League. Well, that's what I'm going for this year. The monopoly of Real Madrid is far greater in the Champions League than Man City's monopoly of the Premier League. So, I think with the Champions League, we need to have someone else win it.
Yeah, I think he said Lance going to win the Champions League. I'll go for Real Madrid this season. I mean, I can't see anyone stopping Madrid in the Champions League. It's their competition, though, Jose. It's their competition. They let you play. They make you. They let you have to play. But once they go through the gears, once they score the first goal, they go through the gears. And I think Real Madrid Man City should be the final of the Champions League. That should be the final. And I think Real Madrid will find a way, unfortunately. Just got Mbappe as well. They lost Julian Alvarez as well to Atletico Madrid. But they need to get another striker in, City if they can, because Erling gets injured. Who's going to play out Fulham? That's the thing.
Hold on. Who's the master tactician? Who brought in the false nine?
Pep.
He's the master tactician.
Yes, I know.
Everybody has followed Pep as a false nine. Who did Madrid have as a number 9 last season? They didn't. They played the false nine.
They played the false nine, didn't they?
Yeah. Right. They played the false nine. They had Joselu, who they got on loan, who was 32 years of age, who they got on loan, and he was a sub, and he'd come on with the last 10 or 15 minutes, of games. But they played with a false nine, Madrid as well. And you've got Arsenal play with a false nine. You've had Tottenham in pre-season playing with Kulusevski as a false nine. So the master of the false nine was Pep. So at the end of the day, if Haaland was to get injured, they'll just false nine it, won't they?
Because Pep finds a way. He always finds a way.
Did you watch the show? You watched the Chelsea Man City game today. What's interesting for me, Chelsea have 43 players in their squad, in the first team squad. 9 of them are goalkeepers. Todd Bowley's gone out and signed everyone in the world again this summer. They signed a load of players again this summer.
They did.
Did you hear about Raheem Sterling's camp making comments before today's game?
I've seen the tweet of it.
Okay. So what his camp did, they released a statement, more or less, I can't say word for word, more or less saying that when the team sheets came out and Sterling was not included, right, in any of the, it wasn't included in the squad at all today, they turned around, his camp turned around and released a statement that Sky read out along the lines of that, he was in Maresca's plans. He met Maresca. Maresca liked him. He was in his plans and that Raheem's had a really good pre-season and was told that he was going to be given an opportunity, to carry on being a player in the first team squad. And today, it sounds like that today he was dropped. He was dropped from the whole squad today. And as soon as the squad was announced, this statement then came out. So things are not going too well at Chelsea because, as I said, when you've got 43 players in your first team squad, 9 are goalkeepers, you can only have a squad of 25. So Chelsea must be looking to get rid of some players. Now, they bought Neto. Now, Neto, I thought Neto would play on the right, which means you're stopping chances for Madueke, right, who was a sub today, Madueke, and Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer last year played out on the right. But people saying that, but Cole Palmer's going to play the 10. But that's where Nkunku plays. He plays the 10. And on the left-hand side, that's where you've got Mudryk and Sterling. Well, Sterling wasn't put in the squad today. Mudryk was on the bench. And when Neto came on, he played left. So for me, and Maresca's now said that Chilwell can leave as well. So it's not just Gallagher, Lukaku, Chalobah, but he's now said to Chilwell, you can go and find yourself a club today. And by the way, Cockerel got injured today. I don't know whether people saw it, but Cockerel came off injured as well. And now, and they're talking about getting rid of Chilwell as well. Okay, well, you make your bed, you've got to lie in it. Simple as. So if Chelsea want to get rid of these players, they make their bed, they've got to lie in it. I think Chelsea are a mess still, from top to bottom, right? I think the manager they brought in, the players at pre-season have all turned around and said, and this included Reece James, who's now injured, but turned around and said they're all struggling and finding it difficult to understand Maresca's tactics and getting used to them. To me, there's a lot of discord and a lot of disharmony at Chelsea, for me, from what I'm hearing.
That's the first time I heard that as well, to be fair, but that doesn't look good. When you get players turn around to say they don't understand the tactics, then that's a real problem. That's a massive problem. Do you know what I mean? Then it's going to be unrest. What you don't want at a club is unrest against the manager. Yeah, you got to back the manager. Simple as that. Because if you don't, then there's a problem with players. If the players don't want to play for the manager, then the players are always going to be backed, right? They're always going to be backed. They cannot sack the players. They take the easy out and they sack the manager. Simple as that. But that Sterling's comment today was very alarming. They didn't look good at all whatsoever. And I think as well, they're going to be in trouble as well. They could get a transfer ban as well, signing all these players. About this PSR thing, they're getting away with it. Again, getting away with it, man. But this is alarming. This is very alarming. And then Reece James, you mentioned Reece James out injured. Also, he's got a 4-game ban as well. Don't forget that. I mean,
who has? He's got a 4-game ban?
Reece James, he got sent off against Brighton last season, so he's got 4 games ban. Yeah. But he said as well, the club's a mess. It looks a mess, doesn't it? I mean, all these players coming in, the players look confused. And they think, hang on a minute, 43-man squad here. Yeah. Only 25 can get in. Yeah?
And nine of them are goalkeepers.
Don't make sense, doesn't it? They're gonna pick up a big check, aren't they? They're gonna make a big payday not playing football. Wow. That doesn't look good, does it? You know what I mean? But the bottom line is, I think Chelsea's got a problem. And if the players are saying about Maresca not understanding his tactics and that's also going to be a bit of concern as well. But Chelsea keeps changing their managers. They should have kept Mauricio for the next season. They're going with the flow. He is doing well. And now they let him go because of Conor Gallagher. They want to get rid of Conor Gallagher. Posh wanted him to stay. And he just went. They're in a mess. But no one ain't going to turn down Chelsea. Because you know why? Because they know they can make about 6 million a season. And they probably get sacked the following season. But this guy...
They gave him a 5-year contract, John. So to me, if you're giving someone a 5-year contract, they give Maresca a 5-year contract. For me, the only way I can see you giving same as we gave Ange a 4-year contract, the only way that you're giving these longer contracts is if that you've got a purpose and you've got something you want to fulfill over that time, and therefore you bring someone in at the helm who's going to get you what you want over that period of time. So Chelsea must have a plan. And to give Maresca 5 years, they've now got to believe in him. They've got to stand behind believing him. Not do what they did to Potter. Not do what they did to Pochettino, because them two got thrown under the bus. Big time. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens to Chelsea.
This guy's going to be thrown under the bus as well, by the sounds of it. Like, do you know what I mean? But you got to back the manager. You got to give him time. Do you know what I mean? That is the thing. You can't keep changing managers, yeah? They're going to be the laughing stock of world football. They keep doing it, yeah? I mean, you think Roman Abramovich is that bad? This owner, Todd, is going to be even worse. Yeah, he thinks he's football manager, and it ain't. This is proper football here. Stick with him, man. Stick with Maresca. He'll get it right eventually, but you got to believe in him. Keep changing the manager. It ain't going to look good.
Yeah. Right, you got, catching up with the chat, you got Carlton Connor says Chelsea's still making excuses. David Clark is saying we have Johnson, Brentford have that bearded beast on the right-hand side. He's on a different level to Johnson. The Belgium Hotspur says, I think Liverpool have a chance for the title this year, especially after seeing them yesterday. Destiny 5 says, Real Madrid honey trap teams. And then says, act all sweet and nice, and then bang, when you're not looking. You got Dave Clark. So we've got a David Clark on this chat, and you've got a Dave Clark on your chat. He says, hi, John, mate. Hope you're doing well, my friend. You're a really nice bloke. I hope you know this.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much, Dave, for your kind words, man. And, yeah, thank you. Hope you well, mate.
And then you got David Clark on yours, and we have there's Dave Clark on yours, and now we have David Clark on this one, saying it's worse because you can only have a match day squad of 20, 11 starters and 9 on the bench. You got Pete who's on yours saying, Pete WW says, hello, great stream.
Big up Pete WW, hope you're good. Yeah, we had a good weekend as well, man. And what a win yesterday.
And then you've got Chris Peters says, who would want to be an ex-Chelsea player so arrogant? Then you've got Spurs GCTV says, personally, not going to lose any sleep with Chelsea being in chaos. Joris is saying, Chelsea are doing Moneyball the wrong way round. It's hilarious. David Clark says, no, they can put them on garden leave, meaning if they can take a new job, then they lose the compensation for those years on the contract. Spurs GCTV says, Chelsea looking to build a new 150,000 seater stadium so they can fit their squad in.
Imagine that, eh?
And then your Dave Clark says, I'm the best Dave Clark. What I'm going to say to the best people over at John Sinclair TV is come and give me a sub over at Tel Cockerel. It'd be nice if you did. Absolutely. We are supporting John Sinclair from our channel. So, right. Before we talk Newcastle, just wanted to talk tomorrow. Leicester Tottenham. What are your thoughts on that game, mate?
Good to see Leicester back in the Premier League. And yes, they're going to get points deducted for PSR, I'm afraid. But as to Tottenham, I mean, you've got Dominic Solanke for 65 million quid. I think you need a number 9. You need to get Harry Kane replacement as well. But for me, it's going to be a hard act to follow replacing Harry Kane. Because I tell you what, I love Sonny the bits, man. I still think he's got a couple of years left in him. I really do. And I think he's a wonderful player. But to get Solanke, I think he could do the business for you. Playing the right style of football. Your wings, he's got to put a good cost in for this guy as well. But what I like about Solanke, I didn't want him at Newcastle. But when I look back on it, I could have done now. But I think it could surprise. He will get the service from Tottenham, from Madison and Kulusevski and Son. Or Sonny, I call him Sonny. And you got some good players there, man. I mean, you got Vicario on goal. You got Doggy at left back. I like him. You got Pedro Porro at right back as well. I think he's really decent. You got your 2 centre backs, Romero and also Van der Ven. I think you got a good back four there. Van der Ven is quick. When he played against us last season, as in Jim says, he was the worst player of the lot. Yeah, the yellow card didn't help him at all whatsoever. We absolutely trounced just 4-0. And 6-1 before that. Well, I'm not going to go into that. But
no, we are going to go into that. Don't worry, we will go into that.
Yeah. And sorry, and yeah, I think you're going to be too strong for Leicester tomorrow. I think Leicester give it everything, but I think Spurs will be too strong for them on the night because I think Ange Postecoglou, he will demand that you win this game tomorrow. I mean, Basuma suspended at the club. That's for another time. But listen. I truly believe that you can have another good season with Ange in charge.
What score tomorrow are you giving Leicester Tottenham?
I'm going to give you I'm going to go 3-1 to Tottenham.
Okay. Right, so I've gone for 3-0 tomorrow because I run a predictions league and I went for 3-0. You'd be happy to know that I went for Newcastle to win 3-0 as well. And if they hadn't had that player sent off, I reckon I might have got my 3-0. But because they had a player sent off, it's only 1-0. With Leicester tomorrow, you are aware that they've got no Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
No Patson Daka. Iheanacho was released as a free, so they have no centre forward. So when you're talking about false 9, Leicester will be playing a false 9 tomorrow. They won't have a recognised striker. Now, with regards to that, what I was going to ask, right, because we've got to the end of the results, and I thank you very much for bearing with me, John, right? But we've had a lot of chat. There's been a lot of people in the chat putting comments in, and obviously you and I have got opinions on each of these teams and thoughts. So what I wanted to ask you now is firstly, I'm going to ask you for what your thoughts are, because you're a Newcastle fan. I'm going to ask you about Newcastle first. What are your thoughts, your hopes for the season with Newcastle, mate?
For me, I mean, football, football's all about winning trophies. So I want to win a trophy this season. I mean, win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup and hopefully top 6. If we don't win any of the cups, then I think we need to push on for top 4 because it's all or the other for me. Because at the end of the day, right, we've got no European football this season. We're playing less games. And you know what? That could be the blessing in disguise. But for me, if we keep away from injuries, get the players that we need, I think we're going to go top 6, and I want a trophy this season.
Okay. For me, on Newcastle, what I've said, this is well before you've come on the show, this is what I've said in the past as well. I don't know, I can't remember, I've got my pad, is this my pad here? I wrote it down in the pad. I did a show on the Chelsea channel the other day, and we had to predict 1 to 20. I'm trying to see where I predicted Newcastle. I think I might have had Newcastle 6th or 7th. And the only reason for me is I think your first 11, when fit, your first 11 are a match for absolutely anybody. Honestly, I think Newcastle's first 11 are a match for absolutely anybody. Yeah. But I just fear for Newcastle in depth. I feared for Newcastle last season in depth, and I fear again for Newcastle this season in depth. There's something going on because obviously you've alluded to that crap, the crap acronyms earlier, yeah, that people are scared to buy, sell, and whatever. But it seems to be that there may be a BDI looked on Newcastle to see whether Newcastle put a foot wrong. And it might be the Premier League looking at you guys for that, because at the end of the day, for me, you know, I think you need to bring more players in. I think you need more squad depth. Okay, you're not playing in Europe, but it doesn't matter about playing in Europe. To put in a challenge, to put in a challenge for the title, even for the title, to go for at the start of the season, everybody's mantra must be, we're going to go try and win the title. You've got to, because if you don't, there's no point in the competition if you don't think you've got a chance of winning it. So for me, I just feel that I want to see Newcastle with a bit more depth, a few more players. If you bring a few more players, so you can pad out your bench and pad out your squad, then I think Newcastle could fly a lot higher. But my only fear for Newcastle, as I said, I think Newcastle's first 11 formidable. When your players are all fit, you've got a formidable 11.
100%.
So for me, and I know Colton is saying you've only got 1 match a week, but even with 1 match a week, let's say you've got 3 injuries. What happens to Newcastle then? That's all I'm saying, Colton. For me, the fear is that it's the depth for Newcastle. As I said, I've got nothing against Newcastle. I like the way Newcastle set up. I like the way they play. I like players that Newcastle have got, and sometimes wish that we could have them at our club. But my only fear, as I said, is just the depth for Newcastle. That's the only fear that I have.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I have to agree with you, because when I look at the squad, excuse me, when I look at the squad, you said the first 11's fantastic. I'll go with you. But we look at the reserves, I mean, I'll look at it, right? I mean, you got Vlachodimos, right, from Forest. They celebrated when they sold him to us, yeah? But we got to give him a chance.
Is he the goalkeeper?
He's a goal, second. He's a, well, if the Bracker moves on, he'd be second choice keeper.
So he was a goalkeeper you bought for Forest, weren't it?
Yeah, because they'll answer it the other way. And that's fair enough, yeah? You got players like Miguel Miron. I'm sorry. He's a lovely lad, but not for me. He should have been moved on last season, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, we need to up our game. We need to strengthen. I mean, Trevor Sanusi is going to become good. Alfie House is going to become good. But you have to understand they're only 18 and 17, respectively. Do you know what I mean? But we need squad depth. Do you know what I mean? Eddie Howe is too loyal to the players. But we still got Isaac Hayden. We still got Jamal Lewis. We still got Matt Target. We still got Ryan Fraser. They're not good enough for Newcastle United. Yeah? We need to be moved. They need to be moved on. Callum Wilson, I love in the bits. Injury prone. Yeah? I mean, Osula from Sheffield United, we just bought for 10 million quid. It'll come good. It'll definitely come good, but it'll be a sub in a minute. But hopefully next season, Jose, hopefully next year, we need to improve. There's no excuses. We need to get a bigger squad. It's as simple as that. And the reason we can't get them in, we still got players aren't good enough, and they're still on canny whack a week. Ryan Fraser, 63k a week. Target, 100k a week. Jamal Lewis, 40 grand a week. Ryan Fraser, £63,000 a week. Yeah? Callum Wilson, he's on 100k a week. Injury prone. We're talking about what, £300,000 a week on players, either injured or not good enough. So that's a worry right there. But the top 11 is absolutely fantastic. I'm happy with the first 11. Do you know what I mean? But we need to improve. We need a right side of mid. We need another defender. That's what we need. And that's what we're going to have to do.
So you've got here, Dave. Graham says Leicester 0, Spurs 5. Kulu to open the scoring. Your Dave Clark says Spurs versus Villa for top 4 again this season. Scott M says if you don't have a striker, no better team to play than us with our moronic defensive tactics. David Clark over here says we need to watch out for Leicester City's lightning winger. If he gets on the end of long balls into our channels, we are in real trouble. Jordan Hyman LFC.
Big up, Jordan, says, mate.
Hey, John. Well. You're right, Jordan. I hope you're well, mate. I know that you. I know he is. Yeah, I know you know all the Tottenham songs, Jordan. So keep singing them, Jordan, lad. I have a joke with him all the time. Dave Clark from your side says Newcastle will struggle to get top 4 or get a trophy if we don't sign a couple of good players before the window closes, in my opinion. Colton Connor says we will be right. We will be right. We only have one match a week. And Chris Peters is showing as a mod, showing Spurs Diehards TV there, and also to John's channel. To sub to John's channel for those that haven't already done so. Scott M says Newcastle should get top 4 with their squad, manager, and no Europe. Only City, Arsenal, and Liverpool are better than them. You got a question here from Joris. Says, John, I'm curious about your opinion on the current ownership at Newcastle. Are you worried about Staveley moving on?
Well, 100%, because Amanda Steve is the one who's helped the Saudis bought the club, and it's taken 4 years to do so. Yeah, and I love Amanda Staveley. She never gave up her dreams of buying a club, never gave up her dreams of buying Newcastle United, and we got it. And now she's moved on. I don't know what's happened in the boardroom, but she wanted to sell a stake. That's what she done. So we don't know the ins and outs what's going on properly, but I'm sure it's going to come out very soon, I hope. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to find out what's going on. But it's sad to see Amanda go. But as long as she doesn't go to another Premier League club, I'll be over the moon. But I wish Amanda Steve every success. But I'm quite worried. And Eddie Howe's not very happy about it because don't forget, Eddie is Amanda's biggest backer. And when she went, Paul Mitchell came in as sporting director. He used to have Paul Mitchell as well.
Yeah,
and he's really good. I hope that if he turns our club into, say, Leipzig, right, buying young players and buying top quality players, I'll be over the moon because he used to be at Leipzig as well. Because Leipzig, the way they do it, they follow through the way Paul Mitchell's done it, buy young, and then sell them on at a higher price, you know. Simple as that. You got like Benjamin Sesko as well. First season, they get him to sign a longer contract. If he does it again, they sell him on for millions. But I hope that you get players like Sadio Mane, when he was at Southampton. He's done fantastic as an SD. Better than Dan Ashworth anyway.
Fantastic. Right, so we're nearly done. So I just wanted to ask your opinion on Tottenham this season.
Top 5 for me. I've got you. No, top 6. I'm going to get you 6 because I think we'll finish 5th this season. You'll be finishing 6th. I mean, it all depends how Solanke does. If he hits it off and you win games, then I think I wouldn't run out top 4 for Tottenham now, but I've got you 6 at the minute in time.
Okay, and then also next week you're away to Bournemouth. Sorry, you're away to Bournemouth, aren't you?
We're away to Bournemouth, but I'm not going to Bournemouth.
Okay.
We're away to Bournemouth
and then where are you the week after, mate?
We're playing you guys.
Okay. So I'm going to lead into that, right? So we play Leicester tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I believe that we beat Leicester tomorrow. Next week we're at home to Everton, who I think can be ripped to shreds from what I saw yesterday. I think they're in disarray. I don't know whether it's listening to the same voice and over again, and whether they're not taking new instruction on. But Everton were carved yesterday, and the speed that we have as well. There's no reason why at home we shouldn't be able to beat Everton, which means that it would lead us interestingly to St James's Park for our third game of the season. We're away to Newcastle. Newcastle have smashed us in the last 2 visits that we've gone up there. And before anyone says it, last season when we went to Newcastle, we had injuries, but so did Newcastle. Newcastle had an injury this last season when we played them up there, and you ended up tonking us, didn't you?
We
4-0?
did.
4-0,
4-0 last season. He scored twice in the minutes. When Gordon got the second goal, that finished you off.
Yeah. So, and then I'm looking at Newcastle now. No, I won't say that. I won't say nothing at all. What I'm going to say to you is, what do you think about Tottenham visiting Newcastle? What are your thoughts on that game?
I love it. I just love it because we do big numbers of you a game. But for me personally, right, I don't know if you can handle the occasion. I mean, last season, I think Van der Ven got booked. Well, it was 0-0, right? He got booked, and we just ripped him apart because he knows if he takes one of our players out, he'd be booked. It's the second time be off. But he got booked, and that's the worst I have seen Van der Ven played. And didn't help Romero at all whatsoever. But we won 4-0. Could have been more. But it seems like you don't like playing Newcastle St James's Park, don't you? Because we beat you. You scored 5 the following season, in our top 4 year. We scored 5 goals in the first 21 minutes against Yeast. And all the Spurs fans just had enough. They went away. Yeah. And I'm thinking, where they gone? They're supposed to be one of the best fans in the country. And they just left after what? Half time. There's only about a couple hundred left in the stadium. I couldn't believe my eyes. Now,
so I'm going to ask you, John. Right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I am actually looking forward to going up to play you guys. Can you tell me today, right? What do you think your defense is going to be lining up against Tottenham?
Well, Fabian Schär's going to be out. If Dan Burn gets away with that tunnel bust up as well, if he doesn't get caught on that, he'll be playing. It'll be him and probably Emil Kraft, because you can't have 2 left-footed defenders in there. Sven Botman's out. Schär suspended. Yeah.
And we don't know about Dan Burn yet.
Well, we don't know about Dan Burn yet, but as far scores will be Kelly and Kraft at the back. And then
is Kelly fit?
Say again?
Is Kelly fit?
Yeah, he played yesterday. Came on second half sub.
I did say he was a sub yesterday. Okay, fair enough.
He looked good yesterday. He really looked good. But for me, when I look at it, I mean, we need a centre back coming into that game. Yeah. So hopefully a new defender alongside could be Dan Burn if he behaves himself. But it's a hard one really, because I would have put Fabian Schär in, because Sven Botman's out until next year. So is Lascelles. But then you have to play Lewis Hall at left back, Livramento at right back. I'm going to take a gamble, Dan Burn and probably Emil Kraft, because if you put Lloyd Kelly in, then you have 2 left-footed players at the back. Doesn't work. Mm-hmm. But for me, you're gonna have to put someone in there. I say Dan Burn for 1, and I think Emil Kraft. And then left back with Lewis Hall, and then Lloyd Kelly have to play for the subs bench again.
Who's going to be your 3 midfielders, do you think? I know we're 2 games away from this, but who's going to be your 3 midfielders? Because I believe that Mr. Tonali is able to play by then, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll play. in midfield alongside
Guimaraes and Joe Linton.
Yeah, correct.
There we go. There's your 3.
Then the front 3, hopefully, it'll be Gordon. Hopefully, a new right side mid, and Isak.
So what's happened to Harvey Barnes? Have you still got Harvey Barnes there?
Yeah, he came on sub yesterday, and he should have scored. He had a great chance yesterday, but his first touch is so heavy. He was doing 1-on-1, but that heavy touch absolutely killed him. But other than that, didn't do a lot. for me. Didn't do a lot at all.
Who played wide right for you yesterday then?
It was started Jacob Murphy, but he got
he had
sacked.
to come off because Sharpie was sent off.
Because Sharpie sent off and brought on Emil Kraft. So like a 4-3-2 formation. So
I'm really looking forward to going to play Newcastle this season. But then I will say, and I'll be brutally honest, I love watching my team play whoever they are playing. So for me, I look forward to football. I look forward to whoever we play, and I'm sure you're the same. It doesn't matter what the fixture is, you just look forward to it. Some fixtures you go in with a bit of trepidation more than others. Some fixtures you might go in thinking we're going to get a hell of a beating today because we've got so many injuries. But I go into every game with hope, optimism, and wanting to watch my team. And as always, as a good fan, I want my team to do well. But to get Newcastle, because I think we've got Newcastle away, and then we've got Arsenal at home the following game. So we start off with this at Leicester away and Everton at home, and then it starts ramping up for us straight away. So if we haven't got a run in, we've got a ramp straight away. So are the fixtures kind for you for the first 6 games?
We got who we got next? We have got Bournemouth away next Sunday. They've got you guys following week, and then the next month we've got 2 away games: Wolves and then Fulham, and then we've got Man City at home to boot.
So you haven't got a bad start then, have you? Really?
Not really, no. I mean, Man City's going to be tricky. We know that, but if you don't get beat off Man City, if I took a draw, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if we get a win, that'd be even better. We have beat Man City before in the cup. That is the thing. We beat them in the cup last season or season before that, But seeing that, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough facing Man City. I think they've got a better squad. I know they lost Alvarez, but like I said before, they play a full stand. Still got a quality team there. I think it's gonna be very, very tough.
Fantastic. Well, John, I've come to the end of my questioning, mate. I'm going to thank you very much for sticking it out this long. I see you had your fan on and all that. So
I did. I got this from Japan because it was so damn hot over there. Right, I have to buy it. Only about 15 quid for that. I think, cool. I take it home with us. Do you know what I mean? So, and you know what? Worth every penny. 38 Celsius over there. 28 Celsius on a neat aim.
Yeah, fantastic. As we know where we can find you. So everybody that's been watching tonight, has already thanked you. I know that people have already gone and subbed over to you because they're all commenting, and you'll probably see that your subs have gone up anyway. Because as I said, we haven't got a community, and they're quite kind, the community over here. So I'm happy that they've all gone and subbed over to you. Thank you to everyone that's been in the chat, both in mine and in John's, because I was able to read John's because I can see John's here. We've got one. Sorry, John, one question left because I forgot. There's a question I started earlier. It says, question for both of you for later. You are allowed to pick one player from each other's team. Who do you pick? So if you could have a player from Tottenham, who would it be? Who would you take from us?
Who would I take from us? For me, you got some good players there, man. You really have got some wonderful players at Tottenham. For me, I'd take Heung-min Son because he's so experienced. He's a big game player. He scores goals, right? And when it comes down to it, in tight situations, I think this guy can do it. I still think he's a wonderful player. I take Heung-min Son all day long.
And you know what? I would have turned around and said Isak, but we bought Solanke. So Sir Graham, my answer is going to be, it's going to be like for like. It's going to be a swap. John takes Heung-min Son, who plays left-hand side for us. I take Anthony Gordon, who plays left-hand side for Newcastle, and do a player swap there, because we're always talking about playing with people that have got speed, have got energy, and can go past players. And Anthony Gordon for me is that boy. So
absolutely,
it would have been Isak for me, but we bought Solanke, so I'm now going to say Anthony Gordon for me, and that answers your question. John, have you got any last words, mate? before we wrap it up?
I was going to say, first off, for the people that watches us this channel regular basis, thank you so much for all the subs I'm getting. Thank you very much indeed, and thanks for subscribing to my channel. And also, all the guys watches me, sure do subscribe to Tel Cockerel as well. Tottenham fan, he loves his football. He talks not just about Tottenham, about any team as well. He's so cool and he's so fantastic. And you know what? He's got a fantastic community here. And keep it up, man, because you are going to be one of the next best things in there.
Cool. I don't know about that, but thank you very much for your kind words. So to finish up, let's just say thank you to the Belgium Hotspur for his super chat, Chris Peters for his super chat, Donna Cullen for her super chat, and Chris Peters for gifting out the memberships. You have all been absolutely brilliant. Thank you for watching, and until next time. And thank you to John as well. Like I said, absolutely brilliant to have John on. And I'm glad that you've all gone and supported John. So guys, thank you very much. And like I always say, it's come on, you mighty Spurs, and in the big Ange, I trust.
Take care, guys. With the lads.